giving you two videos. So like the thing is when this video is released, you'll have both of these videos verifying everything that we've been talking about from the start to the finish. So this is quite literally where it's at.
Let's get it.
If you don't understand racism, white supremacy, everything else that you think you understand will only confuse you. Facts.
What are the white supremacists doing now? They're doing four basic things: racial showcasing, racial population tailoring, racial dislocation, and white sacrificing. And these four things are designed to produce maximum sophisticated confusion among the victims.
In the book, Wallace called abolitionists like Harriet Tubman and Sojourner Truth ugly and stupid for supporting black men. She called black revolutionaries chauvinist macho pigs and advised black women to go it alone. Go it alone? Do it alone? I don't know.
On the tracks, on the tracks, on the tracks.
Yo, what up? It's your boy Rob. I got my man Izzy here.
What up?
And my man hit me up with this article. Now, I don't know too much about it, but I already know about the state that is in because it's the same state that I'm in. it's Ohio, the state with the greatest sports teams on the planet. You know what I'm saying? The home of the best professional sports teams that America has ever seen in the history of this shithole country. You know what I'm saying? But so so I'm gonna let my man tell us about this article that we have up here from The Root, because once he gets done telling us about this article, I have one that I want to talk about that I talked about on the app that we used to be on, Periscope, back in the day. But I haven't talked about this. It's an old case. I haven't talked about it on YouTube yet. So Izzy, go ahead, give it to him, bro.
Okay, so this is kind of going around. This article's from The Root, as he said. As you can see, it says Ohio court sentences a black woman to 18 months in prison, and the day after giving a white woman probation for the same crime, right? And usually we'd be like, yeah, what's new, right?
Right. Right.
But the thing about it is, this is really, really glaring in the disparities, and this is where white folks claim that they don't have any kind of white privilege, but yet here it is right in your face, right? And let me tell you a little bit about the story. So basically, there's these two women. If you can kind of scroll up and show them the two women, it is very, 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 very interesting. So I'm just going to read a little bit, and I want y'all to pay attention a little bit. So this case is about two women, one white, one black, and they were convicted of the exact same crime. However, the two cases are not the same. One is actually worse than another. Okay. According to the Plain Dealer, on August 2nd, former Chargan Falls, Ohio village. You can keep that up. Don't worry about it.
All right.
You know what I mean? Chargan Falls.
And you know what's crazy, real quick before you get started, that place that they're talking about, Chagrin, like that's in the local area, bro. Like I used
is that Chagrin? Am I saying that shit wrong?
Yeah, it's Chagrin, but it's all good though.
Oh.
Like that they used to be in the conference that I was in when I played basketball for my high school. Like I scored like 15 points against Chagrin Falls on a team because they suck.
A whole
Because
15 points.
in
Woo!
in high school, bro. Look, that's what I'm saying, though, nigga. I wasn't no. They be calling Kwame Brown bus life, bro. When I was on the basketball team, I was bus life for real. So that shows you how. So that shows you how bad, you know what I'm saying, Chagrin Falls was. Like, they sucked for real.
Right, that's real shit. They suck in a whole lot of different other ways too, and we're gonna find out. Their judicial system is just not even cool. So,
Facts.
basically, on August 2nd, Chagrin Falls, Ohio Village Clerk Debbie Bosworth, that's the white woman, pleaded no contest to 22 counts of theft in office, tampering with records, and money laundering after auditors discovered she had embezzled more than $238,000 over the span of 20 years. What is that? How do you fucking say
Ch-
count that county?
Chagrin.
No, the other though it says Chikuga.
Oh, is this Cuyahoga?
Kaya, is that what that is?
Yeah, that's Cuyahoga. That's the county that Cleveland is in. that
Okay,
that's
Cuyahoga. That shit is y'all motherfuckers got weird ass names. Quit
That's
making
because
these weird
all
ass names.
go look, bro. We got Cuyahoga, Tuscarawas. That's because for the most part, most of the Ohio County names is named after Indian tribes that was here in Ohio, because there's a bunch of Indian tribes here that got
Right, but they
slaughtered.
ain't giving them back their name. They're just named their city after them after they
Yeah,
slaughtered them.
yeah. They're
Cool.
just but this county is named after the people that we slaughtered and stole it from, basically. But there's
That's
no such thing as
fucking
systemic racism. You know what I'm
no,
saying?
not
Like
at all.
the fact that there's a place in Oklahoma called Dead Negro River, you know. I mean, it just doesn't exist. It doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist. So, Cuyahoga County Prosecutor's Office rejected the 53-year-old's Bosworth plea and asked the judge to sentence her to prison. This is the prosecutor asked the judge, "Nah, man, we reject that deal. Send her funky ass to prison." Okay, and even though she wrote a check for $100,000 to repay part of her debt when her scheme was uncovered. But Bosworth is white, and Cuyahoga County Common Pleas Court Judge Holly Gallagher, okay, was the one that was sentencing her. All right, and basically, they gave this woman, they sentenced her, this white woman, to 2 years probation. Okay, and the prosecutor even said this is unacceptable, and in that he believes public employees who steal from taxpayers should go to prison. So I agree with him. You broke the law. You fucking stole from the company. You took $240,000 and you stole. You should get some time, some sort of something. Okay? And so the very next day, Assistant Cuyahoga County Prosecutor James Gutierrez, the same assistant district attorney who prosecuted Bosworth, recommended a prison sentence for 51-year-old former school secretary Carla Hopkins for stealing $40,000. Okay? From Maple Heights High School. Although Hopkins appeared before the exact same court, Hopkins' judge was a white man. Cuyahoga County Common Pleas Court Rick Bell, unlike Bosworth, Gallagher pleaded guilty, and unlike Bosworth, Hopkins was only charged with one count of theft in office. Unlike Bosworth, Hopkins had already found a new job, completed an inpatient program for her gambling addiction, and had promised to repay the money that she stole. Okay? Now, what's so funny is Hopkins told Bell that she emptied her pension. She did not know what was in it, but said after taxes, she received about $20,000 to pay her bills after the school fired her. Her attorney, Brent Jordan, said that she began stealing money stealing the money while dealing with mental health issues and her gambling addiction, but has since gotten treatment and has gone through job placement program. In the meantime, she came up with $5,000 to pay towards her restitution. Assistant Cuyahoga County Prosecutor James Gutierrez, like Bridle did with Bosworth, sought a prison sentence for Hopkins. He told Bell, and this is her attorney, that the state would be fine with a sentence of between 9 and 12 months. Okay? Bell scolded Hopkins for taking her pension money, and this is her pension money too, okay? Which is really funny. And sentenced her to 18 months in prison. That's 6 more months than Gutierrez, the prosecutor, even asked for. Okay? So this is what's going on. This white woman stole more money, had more counts, pled no contest, which means she did not have to admit any kind of guilt. A no contest plea says, you know, I accept that there's way too much evidence and I'll never be found innocent with all the evidence that they have, but I'm going to plead no contest so I don't have to say I was guilty of it, but technically I'm still guilty. Okay? So she's not even accepting, you know, responsibility for the crime that she did commit. All right? But yet the black woman who had one charge, $40,000, and like took responsibility, even started getting inpatient help, mental health taken care of, all of her things. She's really on it. She's apologizing, and she pled guilty, accepting responsibility for what she did, right? And yet, for some odd reason, this white woman walks away on 2 years probation, even though she was looking at close to, I believe, let me make sure, I believe it was something like 60 years or 60 years in prison. And the amount of years that the black woman could have faced is no more than 3 years. She couldn't have gotten more than 3 years for all of her crimes. But yet here we are, and we're giving the black woman pretty much like a half of the time that out of the total amount of time that she was supposed to get. But yet this woman, this white woman, she gets 2 years, of probation, no time, no nothing, and she was facing 60 years. And this is the disparities, what we're talking about. Same type of crime. The white woman actually did more than the black woman. The white woman didn't take no responsibility or nothing. She walked away with probation. The black woman, of course, 18 fucking months in prison. Crazy fucking story. Absolute bullshit. And it goes to say actually a lot about the court systems and the judicial system that we're dealing with. Because right now you have in Ohio and Michigan, they're trying to force the courts to have to record all of the time that they give each defendant and get all of their information, their crimes and their backgrounds and all this information. This way they can do better jobs of figuring out the discrepancies between your white counterparts and your black counterparts. And what you're seeing is that just like the national average, black folks see more than they receive 20% more time than their white counterparts, even when we're dealing with the exact same crime in the exact same court with the exact same judges and everything else. It's absolutely absurd.
Yeah, that's facts, bro. I don't know if you saw that. I had sent you the link to Dr. Ritchie. He was debating somebody about critical race theory. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And he all of those stats that you just mentioned, he brought that stuff up. You know what I'm saying? And it's real because there was a black dude that he was debating, and the black dude was like, "Well, yeah, you know, there's no need for critical race theory, and I'm actually a victim of critical race theory." And you know, it was that kind of thing. And it's like, first of all, you weren't a victim of any kind of critical race theory. Second of all, then you have to explain all of these racial disparities. And if the correlation between these disparities is based on race, then we have to examine what it is that's causing that. And he said, well,
Well,
it can't be racism. That's what the other dude said.
right, and that's what I'm saying. This dude actually, and I saw that, and we're going to be talking about that on Wednesday.
Bet.
We're actually going to show the video, and we're going to talk about it because
where are we going to show it at for the people that don't know? Because they won't be it might be different people watching this since they put a damn channel strike on my main channel. So for the so for the people that's over here that may not be subscribed to my other channel, where we gonna be showing this at?
Definitely, we will definitely be on Reality Check Virtual Radio on YouTube. On Haps, it's under Izzy High. We'll be on Twitch also. But the main channel, YouTube, Reality Check Virtual Radio.
And the link for that will be in the description box of this video. So while y'all watching it, make sure y'all read the description box and click the links.
That's right. So I wanted to point out something because in that video, he tried to deny what everything was about. And he tried to say, well, it's other things, but it's not racism. But then Dr. Ritchie actually cut him off and he said, nah, because here are the parameters of these studies, and they didn't use race fucking to factor in any of these things. They actually used all these other parameters in order so people could not use this excuse of, well, it's not racism, because that was the one thing that it clearly showed at the end of the day, that there was a race problem. And this is what we're seeing with all judicial courts today. We're dealing with a lot of judicial courts that are unfairly charging and giving black men, black women, black older women, young men, young women, more time in prison for smaller and less offenses. Again, this dates back way back in the fucking 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and primarily this got really big in the 80s and 90s. We have to pay attention to it because we had mandatory minimums. It's just like, 1 gram of crack cocaine would get you 10 to 20 years, yet 1 gram of powder cocaine would only get you a couple years, if that. You see what I'm saying? When you had black drug dealers on the corner selling an ounce of crack, that was a life charge, guaranteed life charge, right? But yet you have a white man, he can bring over 200 kilos and get 5 to 10 years.
Right. And that's specifically why those crimes are ratioed and rationed like that. Those crimes are designed to be that way. They're designed to be that way on purpose. The design of targeting black drug dealers, it's the same thing about how the heroin epidemic. The United States government has, there's 5 states, I think, that are involved in a multi-state settlement with opioid companies, giving $93 billion because, these people got addicted to opiates, which is nobody put a gun to their head and made them take opiates. And that's one of the reasons why we have the DEA to schedule the addiction properties of these medications that doctors put out. There's all of these regulation methods behind opiates, and these people still get addicted to them, and they don't have to be accountable for their own drug sampling. What they have to do is, they get rewarded. You know what I mean? While when we had a problem that the United States government was directly involved with, they put crack into the black communities. They did it specifically because of COINTELPRO. They could trace it all the way back to Freeway Ricky Ross. They get to skirt responsibility, still put black men in prison, and then want to sit there, point their fingers in our faces and ask us where the damn fathers are when they know that they locked them up.
Right. Now, the thing is let's just be real about it, because when we're talking about even going that far back and talking COINTELPRO, nobody had to take responsibility because it was the government that was actually doing it, pumping it inside of the fucking community. Let's be honest about it too. You know what I mean? When you talk about disrupting the black family home, this is one of the ways that they did it. COINTELPRO, sticking drugs inside the community. The fact of the matter is Oliver North got less time than fucking Freeway Ricky Ross. Freeway Ricky Ross's dealer, his connect, got less time than Freeway Ricky Ross and Oliver North. The fact of the matter is they do this. This is the reason why when they have these quote unquote drug laws, the drugs that primarily affect black communities, or seen to primarily affect black communities, they treat it as a criminal matter, but yet when it affects the white community, they look at it as a health matter. And this still holds today. Let's just be real about it, because they're saying that primarily the white users who use opioids and have their opioid addiction have the highest rate of overdoses, the highest rate of usage, the highest rate of fucking selling the drug. They're looked at as they have a health problem. But still today, we're still looking at crack users and cocaine users who tend to be primarily, black folks or minority groups. You know what I mean? They are still criminally charged, unlike opiate users. So this is how they look at it. And the people like to say, well, we didn't understand then, but we understand now. Okay, well, if we understand now, why are black folks still being criminally charged for their drug addiction, but yet white folks is getting thrown in a whole bunch of rehab facilities across the country?
Medical apartheid.
Yeah, there it is.
Well, and I'll tell you what else. They say that white privilege doesn't exist. Now, the reason why black people tend to do crack and stuff like that is because it's available in the neighborhood, and people that have a propensity and an addictive personality are just going to do stuff like that. They're going to drink. You know what I'm saying? You're going to see them people drinking the Wild Irish Rose and the MG 2020 on the corner with the paper bags. Most of these white people who got heroin addictions, most of them, I'm not saying all, because, you got to put that in there. But like most of them, they got those because of being prescribed opiates from their physicians. And if you were prescribed opiates from a physician, then that means that you have access to healthcare and a doctor who is managing your healthcare. So you chose not only to take that medication, because anytime they give you opiates, they always give you something that's non-opiate. They give you what's called an NSAID. So they'll give you tramadol, or they'll give you a high dose ibuprofen. And then in addition to that, which you're supposed to take for small to moderate pain, only when you're in an extreme state of pain, which is like an 8 to 10, is when you would take the opiate, which would be like an oxycodone, oxycontin, 5 milligram tablet every 3 to 6 hours. You know what I'm saying? So, So instead of doing that, you have a doctor who tells you how to do this stuff. You have alternatives. You get the medication from the pharmacy that has a brochure and a pharmacist that's available to tell you how to use the medication properly. You go home and still don't use the medication properly. You run out your whole you burn through your script, and then you go to the street to find some heroin dealer because you got addicted to that. That started not because the government infiltrated your community. Look at all of what you had in place that you bypassed on your own to get addicted to the drug. You bypassed reading the damn label that you bit off to, drink the damn pills. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, come on, man.
I mean, at the end of the day, let's just really put it out there, because, if this was a heroin problem for the black community, they wouldn't be calling this a health problem. They would actually just be calling it a criminal problem again. And, let's just be honest again. If we want to go back to the 80s and we want to talk about the Just Say No campaign, that didn't start until they realized how many white crackheads there were. Yes, and I get it. What we always see in the movies and being portrayed is black men. Oh man, I'll suck your dick for a rock, nigga. Come on, right? But the fact of the matter is, and any dude that has so dope knows what I'm about to say is true. Most of your dope heads that you made your money off of, ask any crack dealer, were white folks. Okay, when I was in that life, my biggest customers were white, not black. You see what I'm saying? But yet, the fact of the matter is they portrayed crack as being a black drug. Therefore, when you get caught with crack and you're selling crack, you get more time. When white folks get caught with crack, they get less time. They go to rehab and they are able to go through what's called drug court. You know what I mean? The shit like that, which is bullshit, because that's escape for white folks, but that is not escape for black folks. You know what I mean?
And I need to, and they don't even approach that question. Nobody even comes close to asking anything about that. Nobody comes close to ever addressing that directly to a white person's face who's in the media or in the government. Nobody says anything about that, and they get to skate on this stuff without ever feeling the fire of having to answer, well, then how do you account for any of this stuff? And that's what people need to start doing in order to drain the real reasons from those kind of situations. The pressure needs to be applied until something pops.
Absolutely. And we need to fucking make sure that this is one of the biggest problems that's affecting the black community today. Let's just be honest about it. And you know, I was actually on another site and I was kind of reading up, and I was kind of, it was a, you know, one of those boards where you can just kind of make comments. Well, somebody posted this story, and a lot of the comments were, you know, the black lady, you know, we learned how to, you know, there is no such thing as white privilege, and we learned how to make the proper decisions. Don't act like black folks were not taught what are the proper decisions. The thing is you're not put in a situation that black folks tend to be put in. So it's easy to say make the right decisions, but if you're worried about where your next meal is going to come, or if you're going to be able to wash your clothes, or you're going to have some clean clothes or new clothes, if you're worried about if your lights are going to be on, or, you know, if there's going to be anything in the house that at all for you to fucking sleep on, or, you know, get dressed in, or if you had cold water or hot water, you know, these things matter. So when you're dealing with these kind of situations, when you live in the projects or the ghetto, you know what I mean? The fact of the matter is, you know, making $1 to make sure you can feed yourself by the end of the night, you and your siblings usually, a lot of times this isn't about making the right decision. It's about doing what you got to do in order to survive. So when white folks say, well, it's a bad culture. No, it's not a bad culture. We don't have, as black people, have the worst culture. The fact of the matter is, when they talk about us having a bad culture, it's the fact that they judge our lifestyle as black folks, FBA, ADOS people in this country, by the music that is promoted by the white music labels. The white music labels are telling black folks, okay, we want more of this kind of music, and if you make this kind of music, we're not going to fucking allow you to have it. It's about the movie companies that are fucking portraying young black men as criminals, drug dealers, pimps, and motherfucking all this other shit, and then fucking putting it in our front of our face, right? It's when fucking we have to make these decisions because we are actually in this place. When you need to eat, you need to eat. And the question goes down to, did you make the wrong decision if you need to eat and your children need to eat? If you go out and steal some food, is that bad? Well, yeah, technically, yeah, it's bad. But is it necessary? Absolutely. So you're not dealing with the same situation when it comes to white groups and black groups, even when we're talking about what is supposedly low income white people.
Right. And let's get something clear that I think that every white person should understand, allow, and to let marinate into their brain tissue until they die. When you say that our culture is degenerate, you're talking about yourself, because you erased our original culture, and our culture is a deranged culture that arose from observing you all as the dominant society, as well as the culture that you implanted into us while we were enslaved. Being American is all we know. And who did we learn how to be American from? Every crime that's on the books is a crime that your ancestors used to create this establishment called the United States of America, and it's been made illegal so that no one can replicate that model. That's why when people come over here from other countries, which is most of the judges that you see, they have the last name Gonzalez or the last name Chin. They're sentencing these black people, and they say, well, the United States can't be racist because it's other people of color doing the sentences. Nah, bruh. Those other people of color are just like the people of color they're sentencing. They learned those disparities as correct from you, the architects, the men who build.
Right. It's the proximity to whiteness that helps them come up and be successful. You
Yep.
know, and the degradation of the black community, and the way that they talk about the black folks in this country, what happens is they naturally try to stay away from us, and then they say it's the culture. No, it's what we've been given, and we're trying to make the best out of it.
Well,
And
it's their
to be
culture. It's their
well,
culture,
it
and
is
then
their
all of the
culture.
degenerate stuff that they see. They say, well, look at those people. Well, look at those people. Well, you've already made your money based on the crimes that we do. So since you've made your money and established the United States and made everything that you did to create this country illegal for anyone else to do, the culture that you created for us that we're still immersed in, you look at it and say, well, look at what those people are doing. Look at what those people are doing.
Right, and I do agree with that, because the fact of the matter is, let's break this shit the fuck down. Uh, the Kennedys, the Kennedys started out as, they were the motherfuckers who used to bring illegal alcohol into the motherfucking cities when alcohol was on prohibition. They literally made their riches off it, and they became, made it ascend. They went from criminals to being a part of the government, and even one even made it as president.
That's
But
that's
yet,
that's that that's that good, hardworking white American values. That's that stuff that critical race theory says is racism. How you can start out as a criminal and go into legitimate business and then end up being the president of this country. That's that good American hard work, and black people just can't do it for whatever reason. And
mhm,
there's no such thing as racism because we said so.
right, right. And the fact of the matter is no, there's racism. You just don't allow people to come up the same way you did. So it
Exactly.
is what it is.
It's the same thing. It's the same thing. The legal system is a larger scale version of the antitrust system. When it comes to the Sherman antitrust legislation system, it's so that there's no competition. The legal system is so that there's no internal competition here in the United States. You make the laws illegal that you use to establish your empire, period.
Right,
So no one else
right,
can establish a competitive empire. And that's one of the
right.
reasons why black progress is always knocked down by either white government or white people. And when it's knocked down by white people, the punishment is always very little. There's
Right,
no,
and
no punishment.
right, and you can see this with all the townships that were quite literally burned. When
Hmm.
black folks said, "Okay, we're going to take your cue. We're going to go out here. We're going to establish businesses, be self-employed. We're going to, pull ourselves up by the bootstraps in Tulsa, Oklahoma, in Seneca Village, in in Arlington, Wilmington, North Carolina, in all these different places." Okay, we tried to do that, and what happened? White folks came in, destroyed it, and then had the audacity, the caucasity even, to go off and say, "Oh shit, pull yourself up by the bootstraps. You're in the position that you're in, all because of yourself and your bad culture, and just not working hard because you guys are fucking lazy."
Right.
Which is not true, because had you left Tulsa, Oklahoma alone, have you let fucking Seneca Village grow, had you let Arlington and Wilmington, North Carolina, Rosewood, fucking Oscarville, fucking, all these townships flourish like it was supposed to, we wouldn't be in the economic situation that we're in, and we probably wouldn't have nearly as much crime as we have in the black community.
Absolutely. Absolutely, bro.
So,
Beautifully articulated.
yeah. So it is what it is. So what's this case?
So this case, ironically, this is from Fox News. Ironically, you know what I'm saying? And it says Ohio student who fatally stabbed roommate over fast food released from prison early. Now, this dude is a student of the University of Akron, you know what I'm saying? And he basically stabbed his roommate over a piece of pizza. That's what this dude did. He's an adult,
Wow.
you know what I'm saying? This little Kendall Schneed, I think is what his name is, was granted early release after serving 10 months of his 3-year sentence for fatally stabbing his roommate in 2016. Now, we
Wait,
see some.
wait. Did you just say fatally stabbing?
Yes, he killed this motherfucker. He's dead.
Okay, so wait. Okay, so let me get this right. The white boy who killed his roommate stabbed him over fucking pizza got 3 years in prison.
Yes. That's absolutely what I'm saying. That's absolutely what this article is saying. My question, you know how I do, bro. My question is, how do you feel about that?
Okay, let me get this straight again. Let me make sure I didn't hear this wrong. Okay, so the white boy stabbed and killed his roommate over a piece of pizza, and he only got 3 years.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, maybe you're not hearing me right, because there's got to be more to it, where this white boy could stab somebody over a piece of pizza and only get 3 years and only do 10 months out of that 3 years. There's got to be some more to it.
Nope.
No extenuating circumstances.
Just the usual. Just the usual. I got this article here. I'm gonna pull up this article and show you this real quick. All right, let's take a look at this here. I don't know how this wasn't all over the news. Actually, I know exactly how it wasn't, but whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's neither here nor there. So, University of Akron, and this is from Cleveland.com. All right.
Yeah.
So this is from Cleveland.com. University of Akron student sentenced for roommate's stabbing death. And now this was updated on January 11th of 2019, and it was originally posted on December 5th of 2017. All right. So a man was sentenced to 3 years in prison Tuesday for fatally stabbing his roommate at the University of Akron in a dispute over food. Kendall Schneed was sentenced Tuesday morning in front of Summit County Pleas Court Judge Mary Margaret Rowlands. Schneed pled guilty in October to involuntary manslaughter in the December 3rd stabbing death of Duncan Unternaher, court documents say. So he pled guilty. How is that involuntary manslaughter when he stabbed this motherfucker?
Yeah, wait, how is it involuntary manslaughter? You stabbed him over some fucking food.
Right.
There's nothing involuntary about that.
Right, maybe involuntary impulses, you know what I'm saying? But like that was a definite voluntary manslaughter. I mean, what you know what I'm saying? Like,
that's
how does
murder?
Yeah.
Look,
Yeah.
if a black man fucking stabbed a roommate over fucking food, some fast food, they would be running them across the fucking coals, talking about this is first degree murder.
He did it.
And they would try to give him the death penalty because it was not even, there was no reason to do it.
Right.
So,
right.
Okay, white people, you know what? You know what? Listen, if I hear another white person say there's no such thing as white privilege, I'm smacking you in your mouth. That's just what it is.
That's why all of these cases, that's why all of these things have to be examined. You know what I'm saying? Like people be like, damn, Rob, you know what I'm saying? Like you put out a lot of content. It's because like, yo, man, like I try to stay up on this because these people will literally say that this stuff doesn't exist. And YouTube helping them. YouTube would take down the content. You know what I'm saying? But we got to have a record of this kind of stuff. It's one of the reasons why I back everything up, put it all on hard drives. You know what I'm saying? Because there's got to be some kind of archive for this nonsense all over the place. It says here that the stabbing happened just after midnight at an off-campus apartment on Grant Street in Akron. And I don't know if anybody's familiar with the 330, but Grant Street, that little Akron University area, that's the hood over there by Goodyear Stadium. Police said he grabbed a knife and stabbed Unternair in the chest after the fight over fast food. The third person who lived in the apartment called the police after the stabbing. Both Sheed and Unternair were drunk when the stabbing happened. The 911 caller told the dispatcher. Unternair died 2 days later in Summa Akron City Hospital. All right. So, I mean, there was a fight, you know what I mean? And then this dude turned around and stabbed him. So, you know, I don't understand how that's involuntary manslaughter. So fast forward, right? Fast forward, he gets early release from prison. But you was drunk. You was drunk when that took place. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
A former University of Akron student who was convicted of fatally stabbing his roommate over a fast food argument was granted early release after only serving 10 months of his 3-year sentence. Only serving 10 months. He killed this dude and only served 10 months, and his initial sentence was only 3 years. That the whole damn thing here is a problem.
That's not even half the time that he was supposed to do, which means how much good time did they give this motherfucker?
He only got 3 years. That was the initial sentence.
Right. So how much good time did they give in Ohio? What is that about?
I don't see.
Like, because like out here it's 85. You got to do 85% of your time.
Look at this and pay attention to this. Kendall Schneed, 24, was granted his release on Tuesday by Summit County Common Pleas Judge Mary Margaret Rowlands, despite outcry from prosecutors and the family of Duncan Unternaher, who was stabbed to death on December 2016. The Akron Beacon Journal reported. So I'll pull that article up too. A 23-year-old son's life is worth more than 10 months in jail, Unternaher's father said. And I got to agree with that, man. I got to agree with dude's dad. You know what I'm saying? She was sentenced to 3 years in prison so he was sentenced to 3 years in prison after pleading guilty under the agreement that he would receive a reduced charge of involuntary manslaughter. So he made a plea deal.
Mm-hmm.
Don't the victims usually have something to do with if a plea deal is offered or not?
In some states they do, some states they don't. Sometimes they just say, "Hey, we can get them plea guilty, and we came up with a deal. Would you be willing to do that?" And sometimes they don't ask you. Sometimes they just don't give two shits.
Yeah, that shit's stupid.
I mean, at the end of the day, man, let's just break this. This dude is lucky he didn't kill my kid.
Right. Facts.
And because if he killed my kid, he wouldn't have asked for early release.
No, I would be the one on trial.
He wouldn't make it. He wouldn't make it an hour after he got out of prison.
At all, bro. This is crazy. So now down here it says, listen, Sheed was required to serve 6 months of his sentence before requesting an early release. Unternaher was Sheed's roommate when they got into an argument over Arby's. I thought it was over pizza, but it was over Arby's. Sheed, who was drunk, stabbed Namer.
And it was over Arby's?
Over some damn Arby's. Hey, dude, this is my Arby's. No, it's mine, dude.
Look, the roast beef and cheddars is really not that good. The motherfuckers give you diarrhea, so
they got some other sandwiches that are pretty good though. They got that brisket. They got the brisket that's really good.
You know what? Look, Arby's is not worth fighting over.
But is it worth killing over though?
Look. That boy should have fucking got a minimum of 5 years just for eating that Arby's.
Facts.
And then maybe another 5 years for killing him at the very least.
Yeah.
But that motherfucker should not be getting out at all in any way. And this is quite literally white privilege. Because how can you take a man's life and the judge says, well, you're going to be required to serve at least 6 months. 6 months?
Right.
Wow.
Facts.
Wow.
Facts, bro.
Wow. That's white privilege. Ladies and gentlemen, we just showed you 2 cases of clear white privilege. If you don't believe in white privilege now, you are a racist. Okay, keep on going.
Yeah. I mean, well, how do you debunk this? How does and look, it's on the people who don't believe in white privileges website. This is their article.
Right. But they're not talking about white privilege though, are they?
Nope, and they sure as hell didn't have Tucker Carlson explaining how this works.
Mm.
I haven't heard. I would like to have a conversation. If anybody is out there, Ben Shapiro, the Quarterling, Tim Pool, any of those guys, we can drop the link in StreamYard and they can come over and we'll be quiet and they can explain to us how this works.
Explain how that's not white privilege.
Well, it's because of the disparities in the law. See, when people talk about white privilege, it's the leftists taking over the United States and blah, blah, blah. No, bro, none of that. This here is WP.
Look, I would love for the gentleman that was on Dr. Ritchie's program to tell me that that's not white privilege and that's not fucking white folks tugging on other white folks' strings saying, I got you. I got you.
We can't say that it's white privilege because it was in the court system. And, the court system is unbiased and without prejudice. So what we have to do is we have to use the lens of what caused this situation. And in my opinion, what I think caused this situation is a misinterpretation of the law, not necessarily racism. I think it was a misinterpretation of the law.
Well, just like Dr. Ritchie said, there's a system that's actually used, right? It's this computer system where they put in all of these different things about a person, right? And what it says is it determines your sentence, gives you an idea of what is a good amount of sentence for each person, right? And they say your likelihood of recidivity or committing more crimes, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. And what they found was this computer, which again was programmed by white people, okay, gave more time or said that it was more likely that black offenders are gonna fucking commit more crimes than white folks, even when the white person has previous criminal charges and a black person does not.
Right.
And this is used by a lot of different courts across the nation, not in one specific, court system. This is across the nation where they use this. And it's also close or similar to the program, which tells you your level of where you're going to be where you're going to be locked up at, if you're a level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, right? And so this is clearly biased. Not only that, and we don't know for a fact if in this case that they actually used it, but what we know is that there was a clear bias and a clear fucking, nod of the head from the judge to this murderer. Okay, and let's just call him for what he is. He's a fucking murderer. You know what I mean? And he said, don't worry about it. I got you. And that's how white folks talk to each other, subliminally, through their fucking trials, like this woman who got probation and a black woman who went off and is doing 18 months in prison. Now, check this out. This is what's so funny. A black woman who stole $40,000, didn't hurt anybody, is paying it back, is going to end up doing more time than a white person who killed somebody, took someone else's life over Arby's.
How's that work?
Make that make sense.
Right.
Anyone?
I can't, bro. I can't. That's why I call it the system of illegitimacy, because it's completely illegitimate and it can never be actually made sense of.
This is highly disturbing.
Facts. Facts. So now here it says, during Tuesday's hearing, Gregory Unternaher pleaded with the judge not to grant Sheed's early release. He and his wife believed Sheed didn't serve his time for their son's death. We are functioning but hurt daily, Unternaher said. We will hurt daily for the rest of our lives. Please don't increase our pain by letting him out. Sheed's attorney, Don Malarick, said his client had been a model prisoner and has felt remorse for stabbing his former roommates to death. the judge ordered Sheed to be on probation for 4 years. Ladies and gentlemen, this is when white people are the victims of white supremacy. That's why white supremacy, despite the fact that white people want to sit there and say that it doesn't exist, white supremacy even victimizes other white people, as I have shown indisputably on this channel multiple times. That's why, when we do these kind of articles and people will automatically get emotional and say, well, this isn't a black issue, so why are you speaking on it? No, it is a black issue, because white supremacy is part of the system of illegitimacy, which is based on anti-black racism, and we have to examine everything, including how everybody is affected by the same damn system. There was all kinds of elements of white supremacy all up and through here, and what ended up happening was that other white family who was the victim of white supremacy is now feeling it, and they're blindsided, like, well, what's going on? I don't understand this. You would understand it if you were black.
Yeah, this is disturbing, man. It's like this is super disturbing. It's almost as disturbing as the black man who was beat the fuck up by the police just the other day, and we're gonna be talking about that on Wednesday also.
Bet. Look at that! Look at the bailiff back there. The bailiff about to have a heart attack. Like, oh shit! What? You mean to tell me I got relatives in this same damn prison that's been looked at by this same damn judge, and you about to let this person go? He got his hand over his heart, like, oh, Elizabeth, right there. Look at him. The white attorney is smiling, like, hey, buddy, like, welcome to privilege. The black dude looking at the judge, like, bitch.
Are you fucking serious?
And that black dude, as a bailiff, his job is to protect that judge that just did that. Now, if that ain't illegitimacy, I don't know what is.
Look, at the end of the day, this is why it's so hard to see black men and black women join the police force. And then, they always get in and they always say the same thing. Well, we're changing from the inside, changing from the inside. But yet, as soon as y'all get on the inside, y'all act like, well, that's all I could do.
Right.
And y'all don't
Now see the prosecutor. This is the prosecutor. She's a person of color. People of color, the white people that have a tiny melanin count, the people of color, non-black people. So she's a person of color, and they didn't let her have her way. She lost this.
She wanted more time.
She wanted him to stay in jail. Yeah.
Right. But yet.
And he's in some Nazi Discord on Twitch calling people the N-word, playing Call of Duty right now with his crazy incel looking ass.
Jesus Christ.
Sitting there blaming the rest of the world because he can't find anything wet. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Get over it. I can't stand people like that. Like, don't get me started, bro. Like, don't get me started on that.
This is fucking mind blowing. This is fucking mind blowing. But those
are some pretty stylish glasses. Those are some pretty stylish glasses to be in jail.
Anyway, I want to know how many niggas beat that fool up.
Probably not. Ain't nobody touch him, man. And I don't. If anything, other white dudes in jail probably beat him up, but ain't nobody do nothing. I could actually put some feelers out there and do some blacklight journalism. Make a couple. I could make a, because man, like, this is literally in my neighborhood. I could actually find out some things, you know what I'm saying? See what happened. See if anything went down and call a couple people. You know what I'm saying? See if they run the name. See, you know what I'm saying? See exactly if he was able to get out unscathed.
Yeah, this motherfucker, I swear to God. Look, I feel bad for the parents that's dealing with this because this is clearly injustice for them.
Absolutely.
This piece of shit deserves to be underneath the jail, to be completely honest. And I'm just gonna be real about it.
Absolutely, bro.
and we always sit around and we always talk about law and order and justice and shit like that. But what's so funny is nobody's getting any kind of justice. The only person that's really getting anything is this white boy who killed somebody, took somebody's life over fucking Arby's, dude.
Over Arby's.
Arby's.
That's the family right there.
Whose family?
The family of the young man who was killed by the incel.
Okay, so this is the family members of the incel fan. Okay, okay, of the
No,
guy who
no, no,
got
no.
killed. Okay,
Of the guy who
the
got
guy who
killed.
got
Yeah,
killed.
yeah, the guy who got killed.
Right.
Yeah.
Alrighty, alrighty. Well, I feel bad for them. You know what I mean? Like, I don't usually feel too bad for white folks, but I feel bad for these white folks. You know what I mean? Because their child was was taken. They'll never be able to see him, hug him, kiss him. You know what I mean? Say hi, good morning, goodbye, good night. You know what I mean? They won't see him get to live his life. You know, all because this dude goes out, gets drunk, and gets mad that motherfucking about somebody fucking eating his fucking Arby's or fighting over some Arby's or however the fuck it happened. This is pathetic.
I feel bad for the extent that I don't feel that the criminal justice system delivered. But as far as me feeling bad for the family or feeling bad for the victim, I would have to understand their understanding of the system of illegitimacy and how it works and whether they deny its existence or not. Because if you deny the illegitimacy of the system, then you contributed to your son not getting justice, and I can't feel bad for you then. If you're that kind of white
Yeah.
person that goes around and says racism doesn't exist, your son is in jail as an indirect result of racism. He was a sacrifice for the
Hmm.
system of illegitimacy.
Yeah, going back to Nelly Fuller Jr. again. Again, if
Yeah.
you haven't seen it, if you haven't seen the video, definitely go out there and look at what white supremacy is doing now. Go check that out on YouTube because this family is number four.
Yep.
Okay, white sacrifice.
Yep. And
That's
and
what
and
this
and the
is.
and the thing is there I do believe that there is a element of some white people who literally just live a day-to-day life and they're not immersed in politics, they're not immersed in any of this stuff, and they may not understand this to the point where like they're not conceptually involved in it. You know what I'm saying? Like
Hmm.
like they don't actively practice this or like just completely ignorant to it, right? Like there could be some kind of system of alien supremacy with two competing races on Mars or some shit. And if we happen to come to Mars, we'd have no idea it existed. Now, we could be contributing to it. Elon Musk could be contributing to it, but we don't know. Me and you just landed. We have no idea that that's going on. So, in my
Right.
opinion, there are a small percentage of white people who are like that. But for the most part, if you turn on TV, you know what time it is because it's in your face every day.
Again, I don't know if I can actually agree with that one. The fact of the matter is, white people know exactly what it is. And the thing
Yeah,
is,
yeah.
as bad as I feel for these white folks, the fact of the matter is, they
They
understand what
contribute.
white
They
privilege
contribute.
is.
They
They
contribute
understand what
to it.
racism is. They understand all of this shit. So, therefore, yeah, absolutely, they contributed to their own son's death because
Yep.
when white folks allow like real fucked up shit to happen to black folks and other groups,
There
the
has to be
fact of the
those
matter.
outliers. There has to be those outliers where they do it to other white people to be able to continue doing it.
Right, exactly. And they're going to be just as affected. And I've told people this for years. I've told, white folks that, look, you allow police to keep on shooting a whole bunch of motherfuckers. When white folks start getting shot and killed by the police, don't expect me to feel bad about that shit because I'm going to be like, hey, look, you know,
Didn't we just do a video about a white person that got shot and killed by the police?
right, we did. Sure did. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, oh well, like you should have followed directions, right? And
Right.
then there's even more problems. So nothing ever actually gets fixed. But this is the point of a system of white supremacy and a system of illegitimacy. So
Yeah, no
let's just
doubt.
be real about it.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. I mean, like I don't know, man. Like I honestly like this is just when I first read this story a couple years ago, like people didn't listen to me. I literally had the article up, you know what I'm saying? And there was there's a bunch of white people that were like, "Oh, that didn't happen. That didn't happen." I'm like, "Are you serious? Like this is literally in the city that I live in."
Hmm.
Look at this. A University of Akron student will be released from prison after serving just under 10 months of a 3-year sentence for the stabbing death of his roommate in a drunken dispute over fast food. Now, the thing is, first of all, you got to ask yourself the question, why was the plea changed to involuntary manslaughter? Like, that's not even related.
Involuntary because he probably the 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 claim is most likely going to be this: I was drunk and I didn't realize what I was doing. I was so drunk I didn't know, right? And then so because he was drunk, they're probably going to say, well, he wasn't in control of his facilities, so therefore, you know, this isn't voluntary manslaughter, and this isn't like murder. It's involuntary because he's a good kid. He's never had a record before, and he's never had a problem before, and he was drunk at the time, and we have to look at all the situations. This is what Ben Shapiro would do. And you know 3 years seems like an appropriate amount of time. We didn't want to destroy this young man's life, kind of like the fucking white college rapist that fucking got out after 6 months because they didn't want to ruin his life. These kind of things are normal in white society for other white
So
folks.
what they're saying when they do that, and they do it specifically for the reason that they don't want to ruin somebody's life, what that tells you is that they do what they do to us because they specifically want to ruin our life.
Well, they don't care if they ruin our life or
Right.
want to.
Right.
Either way would work.
Right.
Either way would work.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. But
Yeah.
with the unfortunate reality of this is that ain't nobody surprised by it though. And I
Nope.
think it's to the fact where, I get worried that people are uncomfortably numb about this kind of stuff.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? People are uncomfortably numb. We expect
Right.
this to happen now, so it's like, well, it's never gonna change, so who cares anyway? You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like, okay, I understand feeling that way because it does seem like nothing is ever gonna change, but at the same time, what we got to understand is that nothing's gonna change anyway until we change it.
Right. Right.
So we have to start like changing this shit.
Yeah. Fast.
Look at this.
We need
Look
a.
at this. Look at this shit. Mallory and Sheed. Mallory said Sheed has good insight into his previous mistakes and shows genuine remorse. How does he know? Is he a damn psychiatrist? No, he's a liar, a lawyer. He said his client attends AA meetings and is taking 2 online business classes and 1 on-site class and participating in numerous programs. He said Sheed's family support, including his parents who were in court on Tuesday. Now, this is absolutely insane because how many black dudes have gotten degrees in jail?
Right, and they're not fucking getting out. They're not getting out early. They're not getting early release. See, this is the type of shit that I'm talking about, and this is why, when I tell people, uh, a white felon has a better chance of making $100,000 a year than a black man who graduated fucking high school and at least 1 year of college.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I'm living proof of that. But then at the end of the day, you have black men online who base another black man's value on being able to make over $100,000 a year. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Knowing
Mm-hmm.
that, knowing that one of the difficult restraints or constraints that we have is because of, you know what I'm saying, like those disparities that we have in society. But you have this privilege that allows a white felon to come out of jail and make $100,000, and then you have influential black people sitting there devaluing other black people because they're not making hundreds of thousands of dollars, and then talking shit because they have a PhD. Like I can't with that shit.
that was just that was a stab at somebody. Anyway, yeah.
I, but I guarantee you though, if my shit hit a motherfucking vein, I'm not getting out in 3 months for it.
hmm No, you're right, and it's just really funny. I mean, if you break down all of these things, they say that a white person who did not graduate from high school, that goes to prison and comes out a felon of a major crime, has a better chance to still be able to purchase a home, have a car, if not two, and be comfortable for the rest of his whole entire life, rather than a black man who has a graduated from high school and has an AA.
So
That
so
should tell you something.
so this alleged stab, right?
Hmm
This alleged stab. So basically, what that says is that by some people's skin color, by those same parameters, by those 666 dimensions, skin color automatically gives those people high value because they can be the bottom of the bottom and come out with the high value black parameter that are promoted by black people.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
so if a black person has to do all of that work just to get to where what somebody's skin can give them, how as a black person can you base somebody's value on the same standards when this other group of people is able to just do it because of the color of their skin?
Well, the reason why is because what's going on right now is the most devalued man in America today is the black man, period. Hands down, no ifs, no ands, no buts.
Yeah, that's facts.
Even the black woman has been upvalued over the black man in this country, whether people want to admit that or not. And this is the reason why. And then because black women are able to go to college, graduate, and then also get really good jobs, they are now looking down on black men who, might have a degree, AA or BA, but they are not able to work in the field that they got that degree in. They have to work somewhere else for low paying, most likely a labor job. We're not able to have access to business loans. We don't have access to, a lot of these things that a lot of people have access to. One of the stories that I just did was how the PPP was going out and out here in Sacramento. They were preferentially giving out PPP loans to white churches and white business owners particularly, and gave very few of the PPP loans to black businesses and black churches.
Right. Well,
You see?
as far as like the gender divide, I only see that merely as the chronology of any fabricated group in the United States, because what the United States likes to do is it likes to break people, especially us black people at the bottom. It likes to break us into groups so that there's always a derailment of our internal politics. Now, if you can't
Hmm
even have black men and black women being civil with each other,
hmm
then
hmm
automatically that automatically creates an automatic issue, because it's going to cause if there's a black man and a black woman who decide to get married, they
hmm
have it's going to cause a rift in that. So you automatically
Right.
have an automatic block. We already have
hmm
family issues as it is, but when there's a gender divide, it makes it even more. We don't have where there can be step parents and stuff like that, because there's such a gender divide when it comes, like, what I'm saying, like we now have people, what I'm saying this stuff about, people in previous marriages and people that have kids and
hmm
stuff like that. And I get it. It is what it is. But like, so, if you listen to a lot of white people say, well, the most influential person in my life was my stepdad. The most influential person in my life was my stepmom. Well, we don't have
hmm
stepmoms because the trickle down effects from white society, black men and black women can't even have a decent conversation. Like, look at all the stuff that goes down all over the place. And it's just like, damn, you really don't see white people doing that. Why is that? And the reason why you don't see white people doing that is because of the roots of infiltration and propaganda that come from the top down in this country to first derail
Well,
us by destroying our families. You know what I'm saying? And then
right.
they keep the separation even wider by creating propaganda to make us have these vitriols towards each other. And
hmm
so there's never even any kind of just, civility. And then
Well, you
there's
can see. Go ahead, keep on going.
No, I was gonna say, and then there's the government incentives to further that divide. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people, in my opinion, this is just my humble opinion, people like to call it feminism. I don't call it feminism because feminism was specifically created to give white women equality with white men. It had nothing to do with anything. What you see nowadays, in my opinion, with women, like these women being independent and the people that people call PhDs and stuff like that, how men have that movement of men going their own way. I just simply call that women going their own way. Like, that's all that is. Because you can call it feminism as much as you want to, but white people, let's not get it twisted. Feminism was your movement to make white women equal with white men. What women are doing out here now is just being competitive in the business market. But you have propaganda from the media and propaganda from all these political talking heads that lump all of this stuff into one term to try to put a face on it. You know what I'm saying? And like,
Well, I mean, let's be honest. Okay, so first, what they first did was they tried to, make us, nothing more than property. They
right.
try to dehumanize us and dehumanize us to the point where we thought that we were lesser than. Then we became free and we built up, our own economic. Then what they did was they destroyed that. After they destroyed that, what they then did is started discriminating against black men who were the primary caretakers and the children, giving them less than adequate education. Then what they did was they instituted, this idea of feminism, and black women jumped on feminism uh, like white on rice. And the fact of the matter is, there is a woman, Feinstein, okay, out here in California, okay, and she was an undercover CIA agent, and her job was to infiltrate a lot of these pro-black movements back in the 70s, okay. From that, what she did was she instituted feminist ideals in these black movements, and then kept on laying down the foundation that black women are, and black and white women are the same, and we're just trying to come up. Yet they were only using black women as tokenisms, right, and as tokens to the whole movement, right, to make it seem like it was like for all women, right. Then what it did was they kept on saying that black women, specifically black women, do not need black men, and this is the ideal that was pushed, and you can actually read that in her book, Dianne Feinstein's book, okay. And then fucking after that, you had the influx of drugs going into our communities from, again, fucking the CIA. Again, this is a consistent barrage on black folks by getting, treated like shit, being our towns and ships getting destroyed, our buildings and our homes and our businesses being taken by eminent domain, then the institution of feminism to break up the black family, and then after that, you know what I mean? And then, what I mean? Then you had the influx of drugs to actually destroy the black man and make sure they either became dope heads or fucking went to prison for the rest of their life. Then you had the implementation of the 1994 crime bill that fucking detrimentally affected black folks primarily. Then you had fucking, right before that, you had what it was it called? AA. It was affirmative action, right? But then black folks weren't able to really take a part of affirmative action. It was primarily white women, and to this day, affirmative action helps white women and gay black men. I mean, gay white men the most out of all fucking groups, right? When it was implemented for black folks, you see what I'm saying? Then we had the
Yep.
94 crime bill, and now what we have is you have a community who is completely and utterly fucking just in many different fucking places because over time it was systematically destroyed, and that's what it was meant to be, because the government and white folks want there to be a permanent underclass, and that permanent underclass is supposed to be black folks. And what they did was
Absolutely.
they implemented that and the ideals that Nellie Fuller Jr. came in. What are the four things that white supremacy is doing now? And once they implemented these four things, which is that all these years of all this shit that I just got done talking about, then they put into place the white sacrifice. And the white sacrifice is to make everyone believe that look at these white people. They have the problems. Look at these homeless white people. Look at these broke white people. Look at all the white people on, food stamps and EBT. Look, they're doing just as this isn't about race, and this is exactly where they're at.
No, it's
They're at
absolutely
this
about
point.
race. It's one of the reasons
Mm-hmm,
why black men are targeted, because
mm-hmm,
in white society, in ancient white society, it was the men who headed society. So their understanding of crippling the society is to destroy the protectors of the other society. So that's one of the reasons why black men will have to always be emasculated. It's why black men will always have to be at the bottom. It's why police will always beat black men in the most disgusting way, because if you destroy, it's the same reason if you watch that movie Knockaround, guys, Vin Diesel went into the building and went into the bar and said, "Who's the toughest guy in here?" and beat the shit out of him.
right,
That's
right,
why. You know
right,
what I'm saying? That's why. And I'll give any white person any opportunity to sit here and explain to me and tell me that I'm not telling the truth. That's how you go and take over anything. It's the same as jail politics. You walk into jail, where's the most tough dude at in jail? Show them that dude over there. They wake up the next day, he laying in a puddle of blood. Now guess who the toughest dude is? And I dare
right,
anybody else to come try to mess with me. You know what I'm saying?
right, right, right. So this is all of this stuff matters because it all connects.
Facts.
And we need to make sure that we recognize it, and we need to make sure that all of um, we're kicking out all of the people who are trying to go against what we're putting out there. We need to make sure that we have to get rid of all the coons. We got to get rid of all those, tethers. We have to get rid of all the people that's going against the black agenda because we are up against all this stuff that's been put into place after 400 years, 400 plus years. And if you can't see it, you're only in the fucking way. And I don't have time to wait for you Negroes out there. I need to get mine right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Facts. Big facts. You know what I'm
I
saying?
deserve justice. Black folks deserve justice. And, we need to stop fighting to try to get it. We need to take it.
Just get it. Yeah, we need to take it.
Hmm.
No more negotiation. You can't. The thing that I find interesting is politics. You know what I'm saying? Like, now there's ways that you can manipulate politics to get what you want. But at the end of the day, what people have to understand is negotiation only works when both people are even and have something even to lose. We
Hmm.
have nothing in this system, which means we have no leverage. And if you read any books about negotiation or anything like The Art of the Deal, it'll tell you that you have to have leverage. We have no leverage. What we need to do if we want to be in a position where we can negotiate is to create our leverage. We have to create our leverage.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. Absolutely. You know what I
You
mean?
know? Yep.
Let me see. I'm trying to find something, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it, to be honest. Yeah, yeah, I can't find it. Oh, that's too bad. I was going to send it to you.
What is it?
It's a TikTok video, but it's a very well put together TikTok video that um I've already done the homework, so I know it's true. But if people played it, then they can do their homework on it and they can do their due diligence and check it out to be true. But I cannot find it at all.
Man, you know
Too bad.
they deleted my damn TikTok account. You know what I'm saying? They some hoes. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not surprised.
TikTok some
I'm
suckers,
I'm
man.
not. I'm not. You know. Let me see.
So like in my political thing, you know that slideshow that I had made that I showed you? Like that
Hmm.
stuff about having our own leverage. You know what I'm saying? Like I wanted to show you this part specifically when it comes to creating a rival grassroots elite culture and class of greatness. The current elite class is too deeply entrenched in the system of illegitimacy. A new elite class must be created that strictly follows political, business, and educational objectives of its supporter base. The new elite class must be developed. Now, this is what I'm talking about having your own leverage. And I want to see your thoughts on this. The new elite class must be developed with only revenues and funding from the grassroots, and must remain that way, and must share power and control with the grassroots at all times. The check and balance for this system will be equal investment in each other. The new elite class could function as an unofficial governing body to drive political and economic strategic decisions. And then it says that the new elite class cannot originate within existing industry. Market dominance and revenues must originate from the newest, least regulated markets. To dominate the industry early and dictate future regulation through aggressive finance and predatory politics. Practices must be done to strangulate competition and marginalize them. Hold on real quick. The new elite class must invest into the grassroots by reinvesting into the education and technology funding to stimulate its labor force. The new elite class must remain aware of the needs of the grassroots, and the needs should drive the political objectives. All education efforts should be reinvested into strategic planning of grassroots organizations.
I think that's a very true statement in a lot of ways. I'd have to kind of look over that, but I think for the most part, it sounds about right.
Because my thing is like, say for instance, if we start now,
Hmm.
like like we have to establish, in my opinion, like some businesses, because and we have to establish those businesses, and like with those businesses, it has to come from our own money. Because if it doesn't come from our any element of money that comes from the outside, you can do a math problem with it. It's like a weighted average of whatever percentage of money comes from the outside. That's the percentage of control that you lose. And if we lose control, I mean, we've seen it. The civil rights movement,
Hmm.
Black Lives Matter. I mean, you can go down the line with things that we've lost control over because of allowing, people in that were actually fake. Infiltrators, snitches, you know what I'm saying? People that want
Right.
to attach to movements for their own benefit. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. No, absolutely. I agree with that. I mean, the thing is, um, that's because we know for a fact that, the government and white folks in general really go out of their way to make sure that, um, we are staying in the state that we're in, because if we stay in the state we in, we can't ever fix it. So I think that's right. And then they always put, COINTELPRO 2.0, COINTELPRO 2.5. They have them all out here. This is why they go off and they fucking, you know, keep on watching us, like super watching us, right? Super duper, like fucking the snitch says, right? You know what I mean? So like,
Right. Right.
but it is what it is. Like I said, man, it's we have to be able to do that. The problem is we have too many people that's in the black community that is trying to acquiesce to white folks, so much so that they're willing to quite literally shit on their own people in order to get where they want to be.
Yeah, well, that
You know what
shit,
I
that
mean?
that shit, it doesn't work. I don't understand what people don't get about it, man. I don't understand how they don't see it. You know what I'm saying? But like, yeah, that shit doesn't work.
It doesn't. It never works. So that is really screwed up. I cannot find that video. I know I sent this to someone just so I would have it, and I cannot find that motherfucker whatsoever. I'm
What
a
what was
little irked off.
what was the video?
It was talking. It was about feminism.
Oh, about feminism.
Put feminism put on the black community or black women of the community. It's a very specific video. You know what I mean? And it just
Yeah.
breaks shit down. I wish I had it, but I can't find it. Oh well, too bad.
What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on like feminism in general?
Feminism is nothing more but another tool fucking to destroy the black family.
Yeah, I agree. I
Like
agree.
I don't mind, I'm not against, women getting equal pay, for their work. I don't have a problem with, you know, their original, you know, arguments. I don't have a problem with any of that. But what I realize is feminism is very, very, very detrimental to the black family.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of where
It's
my issue lies.
detrimental even if you go beyond like a black family, you know what I'm saying? Like and you just talk about like just black interaction, like it's detrimental to black interaction too. Like
Absolutely.
you can't like, you know what I'm saying? Like even if you don't have a black family, if you have a blended family or like an interracial family,
Hmm.
it creates those attitudes of now you're just associating with this idea with specific women, and like that's not true. Like that's not fair. And if you have that perception of your female counterparts, then they're
Hmm.
going to have perceptions of you. And if there's no just even civility, like before you even get to a family level, if there's no civility between black men and black women, then you can't even advance the conversation to where a family can even be produced. And the thing is I think that this feminism is strategically and specifically implemented to drive the wedge even further to where families can't even be created.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
No,
And
and I actually found it.
yeah, I got the link. I'm about to put it up written in. Is this it right here? If white women were shot by the cops?
No. Nope, that's not the one.
That's
But that is
hilarious.
funny though.
Let's watch this while you're looking for it. Did you just send it now?
Play that real quick. Play that, and then this is it. That last one I just sent is actually it. So
All
play
right,
that
cool.
though.
I'll get it ready. Hold on.
I think the Me Too movement's amazing. Here we go. It's great, man. You know what's so dope about it? Because this is America, where movements don't work. And no, but it's working, which is beautiful. You know, it's brilliant. You know what it taught me? It taught me that white women, their gift in life is change. Seriously, white women are really good at bringing change. That's their shit. That's why I want white women to start getting shot by cops. No, black lives don't matter anymore. No. Is it? I'm a rational person, okay? I'm being rational. I'm not saying we kill all white women. Who's gonna complain to managers? Think about it. Listen. If the cops shot 2 white women, they would get rid of police. Could you imagine the outrage on Twitter? Pumpkin spice lives matter. People be on the news crying. It was too many. Every time I do this joke, I look in the crowd and black people are like, fuck yeah. Kill those bitches. Kill those bitches. And all the white people are like, my mother's white. And I don't understand. Like, I genuinely don't see what's offensive about this joke. I don't. I'm sorry. I don't see it. I don't think there's anything offensive about this joke. Quality. That's right. Shoot those bitches. This is crazy. I can't believe I'm getting away with this. This is crazy. That was a black voice, if anybody was curious. That's the one black dude in the crowd, like equality. Y'all better hope he not a cop. He'll get real as fuck after the show. No, but you know what, man? It's not offensive. You know why it's not offensive? Because it's too unrealistic, You can't be mad at something that would never happen.
He said it's unrealistic, but we just watched it happen in Chicago. I'm finished playing it out.
where the white woman being
No, it was
murdered?
it was a white man.
Yeah, my
The white
white
man.
man, but he said specifically white women for a reason.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. I totally agree because when do you actually see any cases of this? And if they're
One time in Minneapolis,
and
Minnesota.
it and then that cop ended up getting sentenced, right?
Yep, yep. He got 20 something years, I believe.
Yeah. So I mean, this is what I'm saying though. Like this dude that's telling the joke is saying that it's unrealistic, but like it's not unrealistic. Like we literally see examples of this every day. And then like if something happens, it's always like some comparative shit. Like if black people have a million cases of some shit happening to them that repeatedly happens every single day, and all white people say is shut up about it. The one time when it happens to white people, this is a national outrage. It must be taken care of immediately, like heroin. But anyway, I'll
Yeah.
shut up now and let this finish.
All right. Yeah. Are you finishing this one?
Like a cop would never shoot a white woman. You guys know that, right? Like never. I'll go as far as to say I think it's scientifically impossible for a cop to shoot a white woman. Seriously. I'm not saying he wouldn't try. I just think even if he did, the bullet would be like, no, I'm good.
Okay. Play that other one. The other one's the one that I really meant to send. The very last one.
That's hilarious.
And this is what I'm talking about when I talk about the feminism thing. She's a little bit more eloquent than me, but this is one of the destructions of the black family.
You should grab that. You should grab that Nelly Fuller one too, if you can find it, because I think we should play that. That we
I already
played it
know.
before.
Yeah, I already know where that's at. I got that for sure.
All right, that's what's up. I'm about to get this popping real quick.
Do you know Gloria Steinem? Here, let me give you a hint. So I was reading an online article to which I came across something that I didn't know about Gloria. It talks about Gloria's new book, My Life on the Road, recounting her life journeys and travels, but look at the bottom paragraph. What is often missed or mischaracterized, however, is the work she did as a CIA agent. Steinem was a spook. Confused, I decided to dig a little deeper. Black feminism, the CIA, and Gloria Steinem. What follows is a fact sheet about Gloria Steinem's operations against the various social and political movements in America, particularly her role in creating a hateful and virulent strain of black feminism that attacks black men while partnering with the white establishment. Steinem first came across the radar of black men when she put a book called Black Macho and the Myth of the Superwoman by Michelle Wallace on the cover of Miss Magazine, to which she controlled. Let's read on. The book was written by a black feminist and activist, quote unquote, named Michelle Wallace, who came out of nowhere. She was in her early 20s, yet she was being touted as the leader of black feminism. In the book, Wallace called abolitionists like Harriet Tubman and Sojourner Truth ugly and stupid for supporting black men. She called black revolutionaries chauvinist macho pigs and advised black women to go it alone. Go it alone? Do it alone? I don't know. But peep what Gloria said. Gloria Steinem said that Wallace's book would define the future of black relationships, and she pushed hard to make sure the book received massive publicity. Define the future of black relationships. What's the bottom line? The bottom line is the so-called black feminist movement was created and manipulated by the CIA from the very beginning. The only difference between black revolutionaries and black feminists on this issue is that black revolutionaries know they were infiltrated and manipulated, but black feminists are still unwilling to admit that they were infiltrated and manipulated, largely because they are highly invested in the hateful brand of black feminism. It is now a central part of the culture of black women, and this fact has led to the destruction of the black revolution and the complete distortion of black relationships. And the CIA had a direct hand in creating this situation. So, black woman, Gloria Steinem, your American journalist, feminist, social political activist, and CIA agent, she was used to cause disunity in the black family through the use of feminism. Remember that book we read earlier, the one on the Black Myth by Michelle? She said that would be the future for black relationships. Nothing positive in that book was written about the black men. They were putting them down. So the next time you think about supporting her, ask yourself, do you know Gloria Steinem?
Bam! Bam! Told you. See, and I'm telling you, all you gotta do is use the illegitimacy framework, and you get the same answer every time. I never seen this. I think you did play this once, but I didn't see the whole thing. I mean, there it is right there. There it is. I could have said that shit without doing all the motherfucking research, because all you gotta do is just apply the formula, and the answer is always the same. That shit is the reason why we have this whole gender war and all this nonsense and all this dumb shit going on right now. And that is the results of CIA infiltration and hurting. Like I ain't even got I got two whole YouTube channels where I talk about this shit. I don't need to say no more. Go ahead, bro. I don't need to say no more.
Look, I just wanted to verify my point that I was making so people didn't assume that I was just making some shit up. I just wanted that put out there because she put it all out there. She gave you all the sources, she gave you the book, she gave you everything. So you can look it up yourself. I've already done the homework. I know it's true.
Right. That's why, like, when you listen to these arguments, from these black dudes, and you listen to these arguments from these black women, you know what I'm saying? And like they're going back and forth. Like, it's like, what do y'all ever take the time to listen to each other and hear that y'all are using white supremacist talking points? You didn't develop that from your own family. Where did that shit come from? Why are you calling women masculine? Where did that come from? That's a bell curve talking point. Why are you saying that black men are dumb? Look at your graduation rates. That's a bell curve talking point. That's white people. That's white talking points coming out of black people dragging each other. I've done videos about this shit before, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, people want to look past it because they got their little friends and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But like, I mean, that's just what it is, man. At the end of the day, it's all part of the system of illegitimacy. And some motherfuckers want to be like, oh, you know, well, you know, nah, these women, and then these other motherfuckers want to be like, oh, these men, and nah, like you're all the same. You're all literally the same. You're just another tentacle of the system of illegitimacy. And this young lady here, in a beautifully articulated way, just laid that out with citation. I mean, that's not debunkable. So now, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't debunk that. So now what you gonna do? You're gonna go like look into my life. You're gonna go dox me. You're gonna say, oh, I'm just saying this and that. I ain't even saying that. I play somebody else's video because this video literally substantiates the calculations that I came up with on my own based on my observation of the way that things are. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Well, again, I've been telling people this shit for a long time.
Yeah, you have.
And
Facts.
nobody's been listening to me. I've been keeping on telling everybody this shit over and over and over. But you know, you can only, it's like, let me put somebody else in front of you saying this shit. You know what I mean? So
And it's
there it
even better
is.
that it's a woman.
Right.
It's coming from a woman who has no vested interest in, you know, she doesn't have any vested interest in debunking this, you know, like.
So it is what it is. So, you know, and here's the last video that I've been talking about. This is Nelly Fuller Jr. I would really, this is hip hop cartoons that put the cartoon together, but
Yeah, this cartoon is fire.
right, but the Nelly Fuller is the one that's speaking in the background, and this is really important because we've given you two videos. So like the thing is when this video is released, you'll have both of these videos verifying everything that we've been talking about from the start to the finish. So this is quite literally where it's at.
Let's get it.
And this is really important. Please read this. If you don't understand racism, white supremacy, everything else that you think you understand will only confuse you. Facts.
What are the white supremacists doing now? They're doing four basic things: racial showcasing, racial population tailoring, racial dislocation, and white sacrificing. And these four things are designed to produce maximum sophisticated confusion among the victims. And so far it's been somewhat successful worldwide. Now I'll start with the first one. What is racial showcasing? That means taking huge numbers of black people and putting them out front. There's going to be more of this all over the planet. Many millions of black people that you will see who will be rolling in money. They'll be able to showcase the places where they live. They'll be able to showcase their knowledge and expertise. So you have television now, you have all of the mediums for doing this, for showcasing huge numbers of black people. I will say it will eventually run into the millions, so many that you won't be able to count them. Now, what is this for? This is for any black person that starts talking about racism in the future is going to be laughed at. racism has been put out of business. But white supremacy is a world business, and like any other business, it works on profits and losses, which means percentages. You go into business, you expect a certain amount of loss. If you're in the grocery business, well, you might have a load of asparagus that is spoiled. But overall, you will make more profits than you have losses if you're going to stay in the business. Now, so the white supremacists know that the cost of doing the business of white supremacy is going up. They can no longer get away with Joe Louis and Lena Horne like they did years ago. They have to have many, many, many more black people who are going to be showcased. I made up this term just to explain it. You have to make up terms because they won't make them up for you. So now that's the first phase, or one of the first elements in the maximum confusion. And so that black people won't be able to say, they'll say, well, you know, it must be something wrong with me that I'm down and out and don't have a biscuit to eat, because there are so many millions of black people who have so much, so it can't be race. But see, for the 4 or 5 million black people who will be showcased, there will be hundreds of millions worldwide who won't have a biscuit. That's the way the business operates in the future and will be. That's the way it seems to be going according to what the evidence. Other is racial population tailoring. That's number 2, meaning they're going to be killing huge numbers, either directly or indirectly, of non-white people. When I say black people, I mean, you know, non-white. Anybody who's in the non-white category, and doing this on an ongoing basis. Not to try to kill them all, because when you're in the business of racism, you don't kill off the thing that you need in order to keep racism going. Your ego trip, which is what it's really all about. But you do tailor the population so you can keep them controlled. So you'll kill off a few million in the Congo, then a few years up the road, you'll kill off a few million in Nigeria, and a few years up the road, you'll kill off a few in Mexico, and on and on and on. And you will highly select the places where you do this. You'll have it all computerized, where you kill off huge numbers, or you have them, even better still, kill off each other, like you do in most of the cities in the northwestern part of the world, called the northwestern hemisphere. Having black people gun down each other, you know, non-white people, the brown people gunning down each other, gangs and all that other foolishness. See? And you kill them off, you know, and you just keep this going and you egg it on. And you put things in place that will see to it that it just keeps going that way. It never stops. Because that's the mentality of the people. And this is racial population tailoring. In other places where the people are reasonably sane, they don't have a tendency to kill off each other. Then you do things like dry up the water, or poison the rivers, dump toxic waste. There's all kinds of ways to do that racial population tailoring. All right, then the other, number 3, is racial dislocation. Keep them moving. People who are forever on the move through eminent domain, urbanization, urban renewal, gentrification, or, here again, drying up the river. You build a dam 800 miles up, and the river seals off the water behind the dam. I mean, the dam is sealed off, the river is sealed off behind the dam. So that means that all the people down in the valley there, they don't get any water. They need water. They depend on the fishing industry. So now they have to come and work for you because there's no more water there, no more fish. And you give them minimum wage and a promise for the future as long as they look up to you. So they'll know they're completely dependent. But keep them moving. If a black person in the northwestern hemisphere starts getting that second-generation house, then you come through and say you got to build a highway. That's the technique. Now, these are things that you asked about how the white supremacists operate. These are the ways that they operate. The white sacrificing is the 4th. And this is, here again, all 4 of these things are for maximum sophisticated confusion among the victims. So you're not confused. You're keeping your victims confused. So you have white sacrifices, meaning it's kind of parallel to the racial showcasing. But these people in this case.
I just wanted to stop that real quick because now that we're getting into the white sacrifices part, you unmute your mic real quick, bro.
I hear you.
Anybody who's familiar with my content knows those videos that I do. Now Nilly Fuller Jr. calls it white sacrifices, but make no mistake, what Nilly Fuller Jr. is talking about is the same concept that I talk about of white victims of white supremacy. It's just this is Nilly Fuller work here, and he came to his conclusions from what he's came to and studied and different things like that. And this is just like my theory that I came to, but they're the same thing. So what people need to do when looking at this kind of stuff, and what for whatever reason what black people tend to do is no, Nilly Fuller Jr. called that white sacrifices, so you're wrong. And then you turn into this whole thing about, well, I'm undermining. No, it's the same damn thing. I'm giving props here to Nilly Fuller Jr. for figuring this out, and I came to the same conclusion. It's just that in my work is framed different than his. So, but what we're talking about is the same thing. So that's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, and remember that he came up with this
years ago.
Yeah, about 20, 30 years ago.
20, 30 years ago. Yeah.
That's when this original interview happened. It was like it was either 1980s, 1990s.
Right.
When this interview came out. That's how old this is. And it's still viable today. It's actually more true. It's actually more true today than it was 30 years ago.
And you can see the chronology of it playing out. You know what I mean? Word for word. And you have to ask white people. You have to ask the Ben Shapiros. You have to ask the Officer Tatums. You have to ask the Candace Owenses. Well, if white supremacy doesn't exist, then how does this video that's based on an interview that came out 20 to 30 years ago, how is this calculated to a T?
Right. And they'll make up some excuse on why it's not the same, it's different, but you can see every single last one of these situations literally playing out.
Everything in this video, you can match it to something on my YouTube channel. There's literally something where like I talk about this kind of stuff and it literally fits into this like a puzzle piece.
Right. So like think about it. Racial showcasing. We clearly see that everywhere.
Everywhere.
Right? Everywhere. You got your LeBron James, your Kobe's, your fucking, the rap stars and
Obama, Kamala Harris.
Right. All of these things, that's racial showcasing, right? Then you have
that's that even a that's when people hear me do that impression that, well, even a black person, that's that even a black person shit. These black conservatives, the ones that I just named, like Candace Owens and Officer Tatum, those are your black people being showcased too. Now, the illegitimate system that we live in with politics, there's different forms of black showcasing. You know what I'm saying? You have your black showcase tools on the left and you have your black showcase tools on the right. You got your Uncle Lori Lightfoot and Maxine Waters. Those are your racial showcasing on the left. Then on the right, you have your Tim Scott and your Kamala Harris. You know what I'm saying? You got your racial showcases everywhere. You got your Barack Obama. Like you said, you got LeBron James. I mean, they're all over the damn athletes, the whole athletic complex and the whole entertainment complex of Will Smith and all these rappers. Racial showcasing. That's what none of these people. Rihanna just became a billionaire. That's another showcase. And if you go and look at the people who moved her money around for her, she didn't make any of that damn money. The same investment group that invests for Jay-Z made that money, which means that they're controlling where it goes and it's going into those investments for a specific reason. Because when they want to tank and deflate those people at will, they can do it if they get out of line.
Right. And so then you have racial showcasing, racial population tailoring, right? We see that going on everywhere. This is the gentrifications that he was telling you about. You see what I'm saying? And then racial dislocation. And that is super important because the racial showcasing, right, is the oh, look at the black people are doing so well. It's their
Yeah,
culture, right? Then the dislocation is motherfucking when they go in and they take your land, right? And they poison everything and they kill everything. And we see that. Look at fucking what was it, Flint, Michigan and
yeah,
shit.
yep. Flint,
Flint,
Michigan.
Michigan, yeah, they had all that poison in the water. If you go and actually do your research on um on the water, right? In a lot of towns, water is going bad everywhere because
Yeah, there's a
everything
water
is
shortage.
right. Their infrastructure is shit. It's all fucking poison. There's a problem with water everywhere, right? So they're doing all of these things. Then they have that's the population sharing, and then they have racial dislocation that moves everybody around.
So you
Again,
can
we
never be
know about
stable.
that. Right.
Yep.
And if you can't be stable, you can't build wealth or economic foundation. You see
Right.
what I'm saying? So this is the way to keep the money away from you but still put the money in front of you saying, see, they did it, so why can't you?
Why can't
But
you?
the meanwhile, they're moving all of us around. They're forcing us to fucking get gentrified, and we're being forced to move and uprooted and things like that. And then the very last portion of the plan is this white sacrifice. So you'll start to see white people that are actually being affected by these things. Then that way we can't say that it's every time we say it's racism, we exactly see what exactly is going on right now with the Ben Shapiro's who are
Exactly.
saying, well, no, it's not racism. It's this, it's that, it's classism, it's that. You see what I'm saying? So this is quite literally the blueprint that they're using, and it's right in front of your face. And this is the four ways that fucking, white racism, white supremacy is working today. And
Fact.
people are not paying attention to this shit because it's super important. This man literally spelt this out 30 years ago, and here we are, and it's all playing out in front of your face right now.
And nobody's still doing anything about it. Now, another thing that I wanted to say that I don't know, Nelly Fuller may have done this because I'm not real familiar with his work. Like, you was the first one that introduced me to that, so props and appreciate it. But like, white sacrifice, it also seems has there's also an ingrained function in white sacrifice to offset black racial showcasing. It's like a counterbalance. So if we see like the white sacrifice makes it look like the scales are tipping and things are starting to be even when it's not, because it's manufactured. It's not happening naturally statistically. It's manufactured for it to happen that way to give off this appearance.
Right. And the thing is it gives off the appearance. And the reason why we know this is if you look at the population of the white folks, and they are about I believe, 5 times more amount of people than we are.
Yeah.
So if you actually do the math, we are still, when it looks like when they go say, oh, well, this many cops, I mean, white people are killed by the cops, right? This is a smokescreen. And
Right.
because the fact of the matter is we know that we black folks are being shot and killed by police officers three times more than they are, right? And if our numbers were the same, if our population numbers were the same, we'd have 3 times the amount of murders going on black folks than they do on white folks. But the smoke screen is them being able to do shit like say, well, we have more murders by cops. Yeah, because you have a bigger population. But if you even the populations, we're being slaughtered 3 times the rate. But they ignore that and they act like that doesn't matter. That doesn't make no sense. That is just bullshit and blah, blah, blah. And it's, again, a smokescreen in order for them to do the white sacrificing and then make it look like everything is equal, just like you were saying. People don't get it.
Super facts, bro. Super facts. All right, I'm gonna run this. My bad. I just had to jump in and say that. Yeah, because I didn't want to lose those points. I thought that was super important, especially since that's what we started with. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, absolutely.
Oh boy. Like in any army, any military operation, you know you're going to have some losses. So some white people are written off under the system of white supremacy. And a lot of white people are aware of this. They don't like it. But they are told that this is the cost of doing business. Just like a person who goes into the army and knows full well you might get killed. But it goes with the territory of trying to defend your bigger operation. So white sacrifices mean you'll have more and more white people on park benches. More and more white people.
Go ahead, bro. My bad. I'm sorry.
Don't worry about it. And the thing is, that's super important to fucking hear.
Let me run it back real quick.
It's like a person who goes into the army and knows full well you might get killed, but it goes with the territory of trying to defend your bigger operation. So white sacrifices mean you'll have more and more white people.
And why that's so important is because we've been talking about this. We talked about this just now, and I need you to understand and see that they understand it.
Shouts
right?
out
They
to hip hop cartoons. For the subliminal message right here with the hoodie, but with the actual hoodie.
Right. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, shouts out to that subliminal message. Like, shouts out. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got your little Tom McDonald right there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I like that.
And so this is like super important because I want y'all to really pay attention to this because what he's saying is white people understand exactly what's going on. Mm-hmm. They don't always like it. The broker white people, they don't like it. But again, this is where white privilege comes in, because what the dominant white society is actually saying is they're saying, look, some of y'all are sacrifices and you have to play your role. But what we'll do during that whole time is we will give you little perks here and there. You'll still have a better chance of getting out of that situation than you have. And this is where white privilege comes in. This is quite literally white privilege. White privilege is low income white people who are not going to get picked up on multiple drug offenses and go to prison for the rest of their life, like black folks do.
We just showed 2 videos of this. The articles that we read literally had this right in them. You saw a white family who was a white sacrifice because they lost their son for no damn reason, and you saw them sit there and watch the same system of illegitimacy that's built off of what Neely Fuller Jr. is talking about in this video give someone who killed their son in cold blood over Arby's 3 years and let him out of prison in 10. And if you want to sit there and tell me that racism don't exist, this is why in that situation, if you're that kind of white person, I can't say anything as far as, how I feel towards that happening, because you contributed to it by not acknowledging the fact that this shit happens.
Right. And this is what it is. This is the full circle. You see what I'm saying? And we broke down that shit. And even the last video that we did, this plus this video literally is exactly what we're talking about when we're talking about, and what the master teacher, Nelly Fuller Jr., is teaching us right here.
Right. Facts. Hold on, bro. I'm gonna play this real quick. How much time we got left? Okay, yeah. While I'm playing this, I'm gonna run and see what the dog is barking, going crazy about.
A person who goes into the army and knows full well you might get killed, but it goes with the territory of trying to defend your bigger operation. So white sacrifices mean you'll have more and more white people on park benches, more and more white people begging on streets. They will be greatly visible. But what you won't pay attention to, because black people never pay much attention to what white people are doing, we just watch each other. See, they know that. You'll be passing millions of white people who are doing well on any city street. And for the handful of white people who have fallen through the cracks, you might say, sitting in front of the subways or begging in front of these delicatessen, for the handful that you see doing that, up under the bridge and all like that, it will give the illusion that it's not about race, that white supremacy is officially out of business. So there will be more of these white sacrifices, and they will be greatly visible. But compared to the number of white people
Remember that maximum sophisticated confusion elements.
I think that
And
might be what we title this podcast.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And so the thing is I need y'all. This is so important because this is why at the very beginning I read out loud what he says. If you don't understand racism, white supremacy, everything else that you think you understand will only confuse you. That's facts.
Yeah.
And this is why, you know, white
This is
folks know how this game go, but the thing is we are figuring it out as we
well,
go.
and this is why and I want white people to hear this. This is why the best thing that white people can do is get white people teaching critical race theory out of schools.
Mm, yeah, yeah, that's the truth. That's absolutely the truth. I'm not going to argue that at all.
Because that would be the ultimate maximum confusion weapon.
Hmm. Absolutely, because white people, you know, even though they created it, they don't understand how to explain it because they don't want to give up all their secrets.
There you go. Facts.
You see what I'm saying? So what they do is they teach this 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 type of what they like to call critical race theory in K through 12, but they're not really doing it. What they're doing is they're teaching kids how they understand racism.
Well, you see that not wanting to tell secrets thing all over the place. That's one of
Hmm.
the reason why certain people have a certain text for certain people, but then the alleged chosen people have another text that
Hmm.
no one really knows about,
Hmm.
except for those certain people, the quote self designated quote chosen ones, because who actually chose you?
Right.
Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is all this comes full circle, and I'm sure by the time you get done, you know, doing your magic on this video, it will show the full circle that's completely been made in this video today.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, bro. Yeah, I think this was like way this kind of just developed into like way better than I actually like thought. You know what I'm saying? Like this was good. This was definitely good.
So the thing is when you definitely when you edit it, you know, edit out the bullshit, but you know, keep the
Oh,
main points. You know what I mean?
there's gonna be just a few cleanup edits. This was
Hmm.
like it needs to come off like raw like this. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
It needs to
Well,
come off raw like this.
this is how it goes when you study this shit. You start seeing everything,
Yeah,
and everything starts coming to very clear,
yeah,
and then you can't help but see it everywhere because you're starting to realize how this plays out, how everything
right,
plays out.
right.
And one of the things, like again, I implore people to go listen to Nelly Fuller Jr.
Oh, facts.
Nelly
Yeah.
Fuller Jr. Or Neely Fuller Jr. I should say, is a genius at about the things that he speaks about, and he's very blunt and very straightforward. And whether you want to hear it or not, you know, it's the truth. You know,
And
and
that's an element that we need. Like
right,
it's important to have that verbal delivery. You have to
hmm,
be blunt, aggressive, and unapologetic.
hmm,
Because anytime they say calm down, you're angry, this, that, and the other. No, I'm just gonna completely disregard your assessment of my emotions because you're not a psychologist, and I'm gonna continue to move forward, steamrolling you so you know what time it is. So
right.
many times we self-regulate when dealing with these people. I'm not regulating a damn thing because nobody regulates when they decide to just gun somebody's ass down.
Right. And so, but at the end of the day, it's a deflection technique anyway. It's
Absolutely.
it's to push the narrative of the angry black man or the angry black woman, and you know,
And
with
it's a passive buck breaking technique too.
oh,
It's
absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely, it is absolutely bug breaking when Negroes fall in line with that type shit.
Yeah, you tell me to calm down. I'm gonna get. You tell me to calm down. What's gonna happen is I'm gonna go from the Incredible Hulk to Thanos level.
Right.
So you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not calming shit because the thing is that you think that you're supposed to be able to tell me what to do, and I do exactly what you say. No, when you tell me what to do, I'm going to do opposite and over exaggerate the opposite, so you know that you have no control over me.
Right. Well, the thing is it's actually Incredible Hulk to World Breaker Hulk, but I'm not gonna I'm not gonna be too anal about that. But yeah,
You think Incredible Hulk could take Thanos?
World Breaker Hulk will destroy Thanos.
Dude,
You better go fucking reread up, homie.
I know about World Breaker Hulk.
World Breaker Hulk is the most powerful superhero in all of Marvel.
We gonna look. We gonna see. We gonna see. Oh no, we want to see this World Breaker.
The regular Hulk. Incredible Hulk, Superman even acknowledged that regular Incredible Hulk was the hardest fight he ever had with anyone, including Darkseid and everyone else, when there was a mission, Marvel versus DC.
Darkseid is that main.
World Breaker Hulk is by far the baddest motherfucker in the Marvel Universe.
It said Hulk is one of those characters that had a lot of different iterations. We've already talked about Hulk, Space Punisher Hulk, but those are just two of the iterations of the popular and famous Green Goliath. In today's article, we are going to be discussing another iteration of the character World Breaker Hulk, who is said to be Marvel's strongest superhero. Mind you, Space Punisher Hulk, whom we've labeled as the strongest iteration of Hulk, is not a super. Is he really the strongest? Keep reading to find out. World Breaker Hulk is an iteration of Hulk that came into being after Hulk was stranded on Sakaar by the, imagine that, by the creators of white supremacy. No wonder they had a problem with him, because he was green. So the forefathers slash the the forefather. That's petty level 5,000.
It's extra petty level 5,000, bro. It's extra petty.
That's a mosquito bite, like right under your ear, and just somebody smacking the shit out of it at the same time, but like just
that is extra petty. My nigga, like real shit. That is extra petty. But I get you though, but I understand. I do understand. You know what I mean? Incredible Hulk represents black folks across the board.
Yeah.
And
he was a white man who was a genius, and then the minute he became a person of color, he was a low IQ, low impulse control brute that had to be controlled by the Avengers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. He turned into exactly the opposite of what he actually was. Yeah. I'm Bruce Banner, a little mild-mannered, I work for the government in a military contracting space, and then this radiation hits me. Oh, radiation? You mean like the shit melanin shields? You mean like that? So when that radiation hit your ass, you turned into this green motherfucking low impulse, low IQ control, bell curve Hulk. Okay, got you. We got it. Got it. You know what I'm saying? Got it. Got it. Now that we're on the same page, got it.
Wow. Keep on reading. Wow.
Oh man. So there, after a tragedy, he absorbed the whole there it is. He absorbed the whole radiation of the planet and also gained so-called old power. Mm-hmm. Oh, he got some old power. You mean like some old ancient history shit after he absorbed all that radiation?
That's the ancestor power right there.
Right. Very interesting. He then transformed him into World Breaker Hulk. We need to transform him into World Breaker black people. Shit. Marvel system of legitimacy buster black people. That's what we need to do. Marvel Comics is a comic book. Okay, so this is basically it. They don't say too much more. Who is World Breaker Hawk? Here we go. World Breaker Hawk is an iteration of Hawk that appeared at the end of Planet Hawk. Narrative written by Greg Pak. It is said to be one of the strongest iterations of the Green Goliath and the strongest superhero Marvel created. How was World Breaker Hawk created? Well, that's interesting. Namely, at one point during the Planet Hawk storyline, very beginning, the Hawk is deemed too dangerous. Oh, wow. Too dangerous to remain on Earth, huh? I guess with all those damn crime statistics and shit, you know what I'm saying? People going around killing people and 13%, you know, 55% of the crime. He's damn too dangerous. So what did the world do to deal with the Hawk problem? Let's find out, shall we?
They sent him out.
Well, that's an interesting story. Namely, at one pointing at Planet Hawk storyline at the very beginning, the Hawk is deemed too dangerous to remain on Earth after causing havoc in Las Vegas. The Illuminati, consisting of Professor X, Doctor Strange, Namor, Black Bolt. That wouldn't happen to be anything like SS lightning bolts or anything, would it? Tony Stark.
Black
Tony
Bolt is part of the Inhumans, bro.
No, I know who Black Bolt is. That's the motherfucker that opens up his mouth and the world trembles, right? Like I'm white and I say so. Like that.
It's basically like he just whispers and
his voice is so that I'm white and I say so. It's so damn strong that when he whispers, it breaks up. I know all about him. I know all about him. I know all about that motherfucker. Yes, you know what I'm saying? Yes, I know about his ass. I know exactly who the fuck Black Bolt's little punk winged ass is. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, keep on.
And a matter of fact, speaking of Black Bolt, let's talk about the white supremacy right here. We're talking about Professor X, Doctor Strange, Namor, Black Bolt, Tony Stark, and Reed Richards. Now, Tony Stark is an Avenger who the Avengers have beef with the X-Men. Doctor Strange has always had issues with the Inhumans. The Inhumans have fought Namor because of the Atlantis and the Underground Kingdom. And originally, the Inhumans were bad guys because they fought the Fantastic Four because the Inhumans were going to destroy the surface dwellers because they were fucking up underground. But notice how all of these white men who head these organizations, when it's time to kick out the green guy because he's too dangerous on the planet Earth, they put down their issues that they have and get on code to get Hawk off the planet.
Well, I also want to point out the fact that they didn't involve Mr. Terrific inside this fucking Illuminati. No black bodies, and Mr. Terrific is the third smartest person on the whole Marvel universe. So there's always that.
And then they didn't have Bishop, they didn't have Blade, they didn't have Power Man.
They didn't have the Blue
Falcon
Avenger.
sat this one out. They got Tony Stark, but War Machine wasn't there.
Right. Well, Blue Avenger, nobody knows him. He's probably one of the strongest motherfuckers in all the Marvel universe. Also, he's nowhere to be found. So, yeah.
See, that's why I don't like the good guys. I like the bad guys. I like Apocalypse.
He's okay. He's okay.
Apocalypse wouldn't have been on this shit and would have killed Professor X. So
I don't like Apocalypse because they act like fucking Apocalypse was a white fucking Egyptian pharaoh. Fuck him, dude. Apocalypse would have to clearly be a black dude. So,
man, do you see Apocalypse's lips when he's in mutant form? He's a ancient entity, a black dude like the Transformer Devastator when the Constructicons all form into Devastator. Devastator is a black dude. He was voiced as, I'm saying, like, you know who the black motherfucking cartoon characters are, even when they try to, as like, what's his name from Thundercats, Panthro or whatever?
Oh, Panthro.
Yeah, Panthro, Blaster, motherfucking Jazz from Transformers. It was all black. Everybody know that shit. Ironhide punk ass. I think he was black.
Right. Motherfucking, Roadblock from G.I. Joe.
Roadblock, yeah, his rhyming ass. Yeah.
Yeah, always rhyming and shit, trying to be the fucking cartoon version of Mr. T.
The buck dancer, yeah, and he had a he had a barbecue shack. That was his business. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now. Hilarious. So now here it says they decided to send him into space and trick him into entering a spacecraft that crashes on Sakaar. There, Hulk is, imagine this, he's enslaved and forced to become a gladiator for the entertainment of the planet's tyrannical ruler, the Red King. Damn, you mean like how niggas went from slaves to athletes? To entertain who?
The Red King, the red-skinned king, not the Indians, but the actual red, pink-skinned motherfuckers.
Oh, he must have soaked up some radiation too.
He got a sunburn.
Being a successful gladiator, the Hulk is initially at least courted by the local resistance movement. That's something, but he declines. Smart move, Hulk. Later, smart move. That's basically like, oh yeah, BLM and LGBTQ and all those people. Hey, Hulk, we see you're big. You got these big muscles. Come over here and break us out of here, and then we'll we'll just leave you on the planet and we'll get the fuck off of here. Yeah, smart move, Hulk. Good job. You know what I'm saying? Being a successful gladiator, the Hulk is initially at least courted by the local resistance movement, but he declines. Later, though, he joins the resistance and fights the Red King's lieutenant, Kyra, who, after realizing that the Red King has betrayed her, joins Hulk. Oh, imagine that.
Mm-hmm.
Got a little bit of an interracial relationship going on there. Together with Kyra, Hulk eventually defeats the Red King and becomes the benevolent ruler of Sakaar. He marries Sierra, who gives birth to children. But soon after, tragedy struck in their relationship when the antimatter warp core engine of the ship that brought Hulk to Sakaar detonates in a massive explosion, destroying the whole city, killing Kyra. You mean you don't mean like CERN, like having a malfunction or breakdown, do you? Interesting.
No. You know what? Keep on reading, because I don't buy that CERN shit.
Interesting. Anyway, the Hulk explodes with anger, absorbing look at this. He absorbed more radiation. He absorbed all the radiation on Sakaar and all the old power of the planet. Old power. You mean like all those bodies that people buried from when they came to places and killed everybody who was here first, which flowed through Kyra, which makes him exceptionally strong as he becomes World Breaker Hulk. Then he heads back to Earth to take revenge upon the Illuminati. So basically, he's about to install truth and justice on Earth. Nice. What can World Breaker Hulk do that regular Hulk cannot? World Breaker Hulk is basically the prime universe Hulk enhanced by absorbing planetary radiation levels, which is interesting because that's how the Fantastic Four got their power. They got it from cosmic rays, something similar to Rune King Thor. So in order to distinguish him from the regular Green Goliath, we have made a list of basic differences between these two iterations of the character. He's a tactical genius. Unlike the regular Hulk, who was more of a fighter than a strategist, World Breaker Hulk is a tactical genius that can easily come up with the most elaborate strategies. Isn't that something? Isn't that something? It won't be brute strength that dissembles, you know what I'm saying, the system of
but that doesn't take away from his brute strength. Keep on going.
Oh, no, absolutely. You got to have the brute strength. But when you put the strategy with the strength, now in that, I think that's the reason why they try to keep black people dumb. Okay, anyway, more armor, my bad. Unlike the regular version of the character, World Breaker Hulk has the frightening ability to mimic his eponymous armor by molding his very bones into exterior armor. Nice. Mindscape. Unlike some iterations of the character, World Breaker Hulk is able to transverse the mind, i.e., he can maintain conscious with Bruce Banner's mindscape. Separation. World Breaker Hulk was able to completely separate himself from Bruce Banner without harming either one of them. Oh, that's interesting. So he was able to separate himself
from his white master.
From his white master. Interesting. And he was nice. He was nice. He didn't do anything that Bruce Banner did to him, because from what I can recall, Bruce Banner, a lot of his laboratory time was spent on trying to suppress Hulk and being able to control those urges instead of just letting Hulk naturally come out. You know, kind of like what Peter Parker was doing with Venom. Ain't Venom black? Ain't that the color that the symbiotic organism is black?
It's black, yeah.
Eddie Brock must have been a little bit more liberal in that situation.
Eddie Brock had cancer. He had no choice. Okay. Eddie Brock is like, that injured fucking, Confederate soldier and shit that he's about to die, and the only way he can stay alive is if the black folks that he, fell, dropped dead in their fucking, dropped down and passed out in their lawn. If they didn't save his ass, that's Eddie Brock.
So Eddie Brock was basically Nancy Bates on American Horror Story season 3 when Precious saved her from Angela Bassett, basically.
Basically.
Got it. All right. So next, let's see. It says Control. Unlike a lot of other versions, Worldbreaker Hulk has a surprising level of control over his superpowers, which he proved by doing good heroic deeds on several occasions in the comic books. Yeah, I don't consider heroism good, but whatever. How strong is Worldbreaker Hulk? And now we come to the main question concerning Worldbreaker Hulk. How strong is the guy? Well, it was said that he is the strongest Hulk to have ever existed, and that is certainly true for the Prime Universe. He is also described as Marvel's superhero, which is also true in the Prime Universe. From what we know, though, Space Punisher Hulk is stronger than Worldbreaker Hulk, but he is a character from an alternate universe, and he is not a superhero. So our claims relating to Worldbreaker Hulk are still correct. So basically, what this article is doing this article is doing a little bit of mail-splaining on its own. Well,
Right.
Basically,
well, our pick was still right. Our pick was right, but he was just from another fucking earth.
Right.
And he wasn't a good guy.
So basically, we're not going to talk about any of that because, even though we're acknowledging this character's existence, it was in another universe, and we're talking about the current universe, even though all of this shit is science fiction. But because we said that, basically what we're saying is that it's right, and if you challenge us, something is wrong with you.
I'm white, and I say so. Keep on going.
Worldbreaker Hawk dominated his abilities when he defeated the Red King, a character no one was able to defeat before him. He would have so they should actually call Hawk Haiti Hawk. I think that would be a nice name. We should nickname him Haiti Hawk.
Haiti Hawk.
Yeah, because Haiti was one of the only black places that stopped white colonization. You know
I know. Oh yeah, you was doing that for them. Okay, never mind. Keep on going.
Oh man, Worldbreaker Hawk was demonstrated his abilities when he defeated the Red King, a character no one was able to defeat before him. He would have also cracked Scar's skull with his bare hand had he not stopped himself and was able to defeat Armageddon with ease. Armageddon is a character who beat the living daylights out of the Silver Surfer, or Silver Surfer assault. Those list of enemies would Worldbreaker Hawk has defeated is too long to fully list here. But alongside the Illuminati, he has fought and defeated the likes of the Avengers, the X-Men, Fantastic Four, Juggernaut, Doctor Strange, Black Bolt, Ghost Rider, the U.S. Army, which, I mean, who gives a shit about the U.S. Army? But his power even surpassed his fighting ability. Namely, Worldbreaker Hawk was so strong that him walking was enough to cause the earth to start shattering, meaning that his walking is so powerful that it could completely destroy the planet. Oh, so his footsteps are a lot stronger than Black Bolt's bitch-ass voice, huh? And yet, and yet, even this is not nearly enough. Namely, the Incredible Hulk 32 demonstrates how simple the fact that the Hulk exists could be enough to destroy the world. When Bruce Banner transforms into Worldbreaker Hulk, the comic shows that stone and glass shatter all around him for quite a wide radius. Then when he stands still in his new form, stronger than he's ever been before, the ground beneath starts to crumble. This is really amazing, as he didn't even have to move, just be there, simply exist to cause planet-wide destruction. It's a good thing that Worldbreaker Hulk can control most of his powers. And that's it for today. We hope that you had fun reading this and that we helped solve this dilemma for you. See you next time, and don't forget to follow us. Now, I got a question for that. Now, if he mastered all elements of the world, right? He mastered everything. If in his normal stance, if his simple existence, the world just naturally starts to disassemble, then
No,
maybe that,
it kind of implodes on itself.
yeah, well, maybe that kind of tells you that the natural progression of the world is that it's imploding on itself, and Hulk being there is just speeding it up.
Probably, maybe, possibly. All I know is World Breaker Hawk is the fucking shit.
Yeah, I like him, man. I didn't know about him, but after reading that, you know what I'm saying? Like, I like him. I still got my favorites because of bias. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I'm biased. I like Thanos.
Who?
You know what I'm saying? Say
Who?
what?
Thanos?
Yeah, I like Thanos, man. I like Thanos because he was. I've never been into, like, I've never liked the Hulk. I never liked the Gray Hulk. I never liked any of that shit. And this story, based on the artwork, seems like a relatively new story, so it wouldn't be something
It
that
is.
I had read. Yeah, so I didn't know about this, but I like this though. I like this. I like
I
the.
am by far World Breaker Hulk and Blue Avenger are my two favorite comic book characters. I know I catch a lot of shit for that, and then probably Luke Cage, and then fucking Black Panther.
Whatever ended up happening with Iron Fist. You remember Luke Cage it was Power Man and Iron Fist, and they had a comic
Hmm.
book together. What happened to Iron Fist? Iron Fist was shady. Like, in some comic books he would be a bad guy, and in some comic books he'd be a good guy.
Right. Iron Fist, just passed on his powers. He got old, fought, died, and someone else took over the Iron
So
Fist.
out of all the partnership that he had with Luke Cage, and Luke Cage got bulletproof skin and super strength, he didn't think that'd
Mhm.
be a nice addition to add to Luke Cage's arsenal. Was, that, like, plasma fist? Like, I'm gonna give
No,
it to somebody else.
no, because you had to fight the dragon in order to fucking get the Iron Fist. I mean, to get that fist that he has.
And Luke Cage couldn't get it.
He didn't try.
See, fuck Luke.
Luke Cage is a fucking gangster, bro. The fuck is you talking about? And that nigga stayed in the hood. Is you
Yeah, he's
serious?
from Harlem. He's from Harlem. They all stay in the hood. Shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, Spider-Man is from Hell's Kitchen. Who cares?
That's Daredevil.
No, Spider-Man is from Hell's Kitchen too. Most Marvel people are from New York.
He
Spider-Man is from Hell's
He's
Kitchen.
from like Manhattan, bro.
No, Spider-Man,
Or
Peter Parker is
Brooklyn. Or
Peter from Queens. He's from Hell's Kitchen.
Queens.
And Hell's
Queens.
Kitchen is in Queens, nigga.
Oh, I don't know that. You know. All I know is Hell's Kitchen. Whenever you say Hell's Kitchen, that is specifically Daredevil.
Yeah, well, Daredevil was from there too. That's why they was all arch. That's why they was all arch enemies. You know, Daredevil and the Punisher, they're arch enemies. They fight, and that's why Spider-Man, Daredevil, and the Punisher are all arch enemies with Wilson Fisk, the Kingpin.
Well, yeah, but Punisher ended up killing fucking Peter Parker, so it didn't really matter.
I mean, Peter Parker is. I never liked Spider-Man. You know what I'm saying? I liked his comic. I liked his comic book because I liked a lot of the characters in the comic. I don't like Spider-Man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't like Peter Parker.
Was cool, man. You know what? You have been dismissed because
I like
Spider-Man was cool. Spider-Man was like the closest thing you were ever gonna get to a smart ass nigga.
Nah. Nah. I like Bishop from X-Men. You know what I'm saying? I don't like Peter Parker. I liked Kurt Connors, the Lizard. And I liked seeing the Lizard kick his ass. That was always real fun for me. That was one of the reasons why I bought.
What about the new Spider-Man?
I don't know too much about the new Spider-Man.
Miguel something. He like black and Latino.
I don't know. I don't know about all that. I don't know. I don't know about all that. I don't know about
actually that. Good. The video game is tight as shit. But
does he have his own comic book? I have to check him out. Now, if you want to talk about a Latino character that I liked, you know what I'm saying? Like, I liked Gus in matter of fact, I like Gus in Breaking Bad, and I liked Gus in The Strain. Like, Gus in The Strain, man, that nigga was hard, nigga. Like,
I don't know who neither one of them motherfuckers are.
Oh, you ain't watched Breaking Bad?
No. Why would I watch a whole bunch of white people tweaking? I can look outside for that shit.
Man, it wasn't one time where they showed it. Well, actually, I think it was like twice. They showed people tweaking in that show, but that wasn't
They
about.
was quite literally fucking cooking meth, my nigga.
Yeah, they was cooking meth, but they wasn't tweaking on it.
It doesn't, man. It's all the same shit.
Man, it was about the like the strategies. Like, see, like when I watched the
I
show,
don't give two shits to see fucking meth head white people go around fucking selling drugs. I don't care.
man,
I have little to no interest in watching meth head white people run around and shit at all. Okay?
I love that. I love that show, bro. Like that show
I
is
don't
dope to
give a
me.
shit. That is the show of all shows showing fucking white privilege.
No, I'll tell you what though. What else it shows is that Walter White and Jesse Pinkman were white victims of white supremacy. Because what ended up happening was they thought that they was gonna be cool, and they got a white supremacist prison gang to kill all of Gus Fring's remaining people after Walter White turned his back on Gus Fring. And what ended up happening was that white supremacist prison gang took over the meth distribution, turned around, and then they killed Walter White. And Jesse Pinkman ended up white.
My nigga, I'm gonna tell you something. I have no idea what the fuck you talking about.
You gotta watch this. You gotta watch this show. That's why you gotta watch that show, man. I love that show, bro. Like, and I liked it too because of the way that it was put together. Like the way they had like a lot of symbolism in there, and they had like a lot of predictive programming. Like just the way that like the architecture of the show was real cool to me. Like that was one of the things that I liked about it. You know what I'm saying?
Right. No, I definitely get that. Hey, real quick, I want people to fucking go watch this white boy find out that his family was a bunch of fucking slaveholders, and they would go around murdering fucking black folks.
Was he proud and unapologetic?
No, he tried to act like he was, feeling bad, and that's like fucked up and blah blah.
He should have told him
blah.
thank you. He should have told him thank you. He should have been honest and just said, thank you because this is because of you guys. This is I'm where I'm at in the world today. So thank you. That's what he should have said.
It's called The Uncomfortable Truth. Go check that out. But the one that you guys really need to go check out, if anybody has Amazon Prime Video, go look up Drugs as Weapons Against Us, the CIA War on Musicians and Activists. Go check that shit the fuck out. It's very, very, very interesting. You know about the COINTELPRO. You know what I mean?
Oh man, COINTELPRO, bro. We need to do a video like, excuse me, specifically on that.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I'm saying?
Across 110th Street, nigga. That's that gangster shit. That old shit. But anyway.
Man, I just had to like that video on hip hop cartoons. You know what I'm saying? Like I just had to do that real quick because and I subbed that channel, hit the bell icon twice because that channel is dope and that cartoon is dope. You know what I'm saying?
And they have a lot of really, really, really good videos, a lot of great speeches. That was like by Nellie Fuller, Malcolm X, a lot of people, even some people that are actually around today. So, go check that shit out because it is, pretty cool.
All right, for sure. Yeah, I will definitely be checking that shit out, bro. I will definitely be checking that shit out. Let me see. So, shit, man, I think we like killed it. Was it anything else that you wanted to talk about, or like, you know?
You want to go see the biggest collection of blaxploitation videos on fucking any streaming service besides motherfucking look, bro. I'm a big blaxploitation film.
Listen, man, when we get your channel monetized, can we do something like this for the merch? Look, can we do something like that?
Say?
It says I'm going to hell in every religion as part of your merch.
Yeah, definitely. I am going to hell in every religion. Why not? I don't see a problem with that. It's totally cool.
Oh man, dude, that's too funny, man.
Totally fine with me.
That is hilarious. That's some real shit. That's some
Totally
real
fine with
shit.
me. I'm down.
Man, there was some shit that I had wanted to ask you about, bro, and I cannot even motherfucking think of that shit, man.
Look, bro, I can't tell you how to fuck your girl, bro. You got to figure that out by yourself.
Nah, it wasn't that. It wasn't
Can't
that.
ask you about my technique. That's a secret, bro.
What I wanted to ask you about was so you know what a lot of people have been talking about that the baby stuff. And did you see
Yeah.
that he got attacked in the media today? The Brat said something about him, and Megan Thee Stallion said something about him. How you feel about it?
I don't know what the fuck they said
Hold on, let's see.
because I don't really give two shits, to be completely honest.
I know, right? Hold on, real quick. Hold on, real quick.
I really
No,
don't
I
give
feel
two
it.
shits.
I feel it,
Like,
bro. It's just like this shit is just retarded.
Are you giving me some money, nigga? I feel a certain type of way if you give me some money, nigga.
Right.
You know, outside of
Oh,
that,
look at this. I didn't know about this, bro.
what?
Kanye West removed the baby's music from streaming services.
Yeah, that don't sell out, nigga. Fuck him, bro.
What a
I tell you,
lame.
I've never really been a big Kanye West fan. I mean, ever since motherfucking, you know, that song where he was rapping through the broken jaw, that song.
Through the Wire. Yeah, I told
Yeah,
everybody
Through the
that shit
Wire.
too. There's a couple songs that
Yeah.
I like the stuff that he did with Twista and Jamie Foxx was cool. I like that because I'm a Twista
I
fan.
liked it. Yeah, that again, just that stuff was cool. But I'm not gonna lie, bro. The minute motherfucking he came out with "She's a gold digger," you know, she needs your money. You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
shit. And then he turned around and fucking married fucking, you know, him. I was like, nigga, you fucking piece of shit. Like, I'm good on Kanye. I ain't never really been like, the last thing that Kanye did was that fucking, it's basically that one that was primarily the beat. And it was a dark and somebody was in the back of a Cadillac or some shit and it was some bitch that was gonna kill some nigga. That was the last thing that he did that I liked it. I don't like a lot of Kanye West shit. I think
I
he's
don't like Kanye,
overhyped.
man. Like sometimes he comes with some things that are accurate. Like sometimes he'll say some stuff that makes sense. But like when it comes to Kanye though, like I gotta ask myself the question, like, bro, like, are you just saying that stuff to like pander, or like do you actually mean it? Because like he'll actually say some
He
stuff.
doesn't mean any of it, bro. The
Yeah,
fact
like
of
he
the
don't mean
matter
none
is
of that
the people he's pandering to right now is white people because white people pay for his shit.
And that's the problem with
Period.
hip hop nowadays. They made it instead of they should change it, bro. They should change the name of hip hop from hip hop to whip hop.
White people music. That's what I call it.
I call it whip hop because they start cracking that whip and these niggas start rapping whatever it is that they want them to say.
Yeah, I'm good on fucking. I don't listen to a lot of fucking like hip hop anymore. I
Nah, me
listen to
neither.
old school shit, but I listen to R&B. I'm an R&B dude because you know, fucking black hip hop started to soul out, bro. So I'm
Yeah.
good. You know what I
Yeah, I'm
mean?
cool. Yeah, I
I'm
feel
good
it.
on them motherfuckers. And look, when you got niggas like Takashi 6 motherfucking 9, like the biggest artist out, you know what I mean, in hip hop, bro. Like I'm good, bro. And then you got Tom McDonald. Those two motherfuckers, bro. I'm over hip hop, bro. Hip hop
that
is dead, bro.
that's covert racist culture vulture Tom McDonald, like that shit is funny as hell to me. Like and I'm telling you, man, black people love him too, man. It's so many
I know they do.
YouTube channels on YouTube that react to Tom McDonald, like, oh, look at this, even a white boy, like, Yeah, that white boy is racist as hell, and he's literally talking about your dumb ass. Like, this motherfucker's Canadian, you know what I'm saying? This Canadian white dude with dreads sitting here telling American hip hoppers who created hip hop what the fuck we should and shouldn't be rapping about. White boy, sit your ass down and respect the culture and rap about motherfucking maple syrup and shit with your Canadian
You know what I mean?
ass.
Like stay the fuck out of what people should be rapping about, nigga, because had it not been for us, the fact of the matter is you wouldn't even be in hip hop. You should fucking be praying and thanking the hip hop black gods that you were able to fucking, you know, have a future after being a dopehead alcoholic fucking piece of shit, bro.
Yeah.
Like, mind your fucking business, stay in your lane. You want to
And
rap to
respect the
white people?
culture.
Right. Then rap to white people, homeboy. But don't fucking try to tell what people should be rapping about, bro.
Yeah.
Fuck out of here.
What's
that
that
dude's
other
a fucking clown.
What's that other white boy's name that's tatted up and shit that look like Adam 22 and shit that be wanting to talk his little racist shit the fuck on the sly and shit? You know what I'm saying? Like,
Which
fuck.
one?
Well, and my I can't think of that motherfucker's name.
Are you talking about the dude from the Bay or?
I don't know. He's some white dude that like tried to sound like Ghostface.
A white dude that tries to sound Ghostface.
Yeah.
Is he fat?
Nah, he the average size dude. I can't think of his name, man.
Adam Calhoun?
Adam Calhoun, that's his name. Adam Calhoun better take heed, man. I don't know if they saw there was a rap contest in Long Island where one of them white boys like Adam Calhoun and Adam 22. The motherfucker's names is always Adam and shit. You know what I'm saying? And then Uncle Tom McDonald, you know what I'm saying? He got punched in the face for calling a black dude a nigga.
Yeah, this good. This is hold on. This motherfucker's Adam Calhoun. Fuck him.
Yeah, like ain't nobody, ain't nobody. I don't give a, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care about none of that. None of that is hip hop culture. Like, I don't need you. Like, don't rap to me about white trash because for one, like, I'm not the motherfucker that goes around categorizing people as trash. That's white culture. White people are the ones that call other white people white trash.
People love this shit. They, you know, there's so many white people.
They love it because it's their white validation. It's how they connect. It's how they connect to the things that they like about black culture without admitting to it. It's a proxy. Fuck that shit. Fuck Tom McDonald. Fuck all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, Adam Calhoun, whatever that motherfucker's name. Fuck him too. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want to come in and I'm white and I say so on rap culture and shit. Oh yeah, you know, all you motherfuckers rap about is drug dealing. That's because you motherfuckers can graduate from high school and get a job paying $100,000 a year, and somebody that's black who has a master's degree doesn't get that kind of money. So what do you think somebody black that didn't graduate from college has to do? That's why niggas rap about drugs, not because some shit you see on MTV. That's the reason why you rap about it, because you see that shit on MTV.
Right. And your girl fucking actually loves this shit.
Oh yeah, Tom McDonald, yeah.
No, Gothics.
And
Gothics loves this shit.
Yeah. Yeah, she loves that shit, bro. But Gothics hates black people, so that's why she loves that shit. Yeah, that's why I send you all those videos. Like, man, look at Gothics.
She hates herself so much. Like, she despises herself. It's pathetic.
And she does this video like, so they say that I hate black people. They say that I hate myself. Like, I mean, nobody. I mean, your behavior says that,
right?
And people interpret your behavior. You know what I'm saying? Like, you literally sit there on live streams and basically rub white people's heads and say, "Oh, well, you know, you let the N-word slip once or twice, and you have a inherent bias towards black people, and they just need to not be so sensitive. It's not you being racist or anything. You're not the problem. I mean, I'm a good one. You see, there's nothing wrong with me because I think like you. So there has to be a problem with everybody else,
Now, did they have the video of Tom McDonald getting punched?
Oh no, it wasn't Tom McDonald that got punched. It was just some rapper in in Long Island.
Oh yeah, okay, I seen that shit where
Yeah,
he
yeah,
was like, "I'm not supposed to say it, but I'm gonna say it anyway, nigga." And then that bitch,
yeah.
blah!
And then the black
Like,
dude, it was a black dude that was wearing blue. He came over and like grabbed the black dude and was like scolding the black dude for punching him. You literally just heard this white boy come up in here. He in the hood, he in the projects in New York City. You know what I'm saying? And then you gonna sit there and protect a black man. You're gonna protect him from a black man after he called a black dude the N-word. Tell me what white person would do that if they seen a black person attack a white person and call them the C word, and then the white person attack the black person back. Tell me where a white person would come in and like hold the white person back from fighting the black dude. Like, where would that happen at?
yeah, I
That
don't know.
that's that buck broken mentality, man. They should have just been able to fight it out. Like that. You ain't. I mean, ain't nobody saying sit there and let dude kill dude. So it's a homicide right there. But I mean, he told you. I mean, like, there's just a cultural respect. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I was allowed, like, if if I had some friends that was like indigenous, you know what I mean, and like they let me hang out on the reservation, you know what I'm saying? Like, they let me chill, you know what I'm saying? They introduced me to their grandparents and stuff like that. I'm not gonna come in there and be like, well, I really don't give a fuck what y'all think. I'm from Cleveland, and the Cleveland Indians, fuck their name as the Guardians. They gonna always be the Indians to me. I would never do no shit like that. Like,
They're the Caucasians to me.
right. But like that's the mentality though. Like, what is wrong with your brain that you think that you can come into somebody else's culture and literally try to dictate it and dominate? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And I gotta ask the same question with everybody else. Like, what the fuck is wrong with the fact that instead of fighting and resisting that shit, like what a natural immune system does, why do you embrace that? I don't embrace that shit. Like, I make my content specifically for the audience that my content is intended for, which is why I want my audience to be the most supportive base. I don't want support from nobody else, because I want the people that support me being me and doing what I do being my support. I don't want anybody saying, well, yeah, I give you this, kind of support, and if you don't start talking about this, I'm gonna pull that support. I don't give a fuck. Go on and pull it. I wasn't talking about that shit. Like that, I don't care. Like, I would much rather have a small, concentrated, loyal group of people that rock with me, whether we have differences on things or not, instead of I'm gonna just embrace this. Well, like I'm gonna embrace these white people. You saw what happened to Amazing Lucas on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like Amazing Lucas, but I never really liked him because I thought he was too entrenched in politics. Like, he was a little bit entrenched in politics. Like, I liked Amazing Luke. You know what I'm saying? Like, I thought he was a decent dude. But like, he was way too deep into politics. It was like certain things that he would say, like in his older content. I'm like, man, you smarter than this, dude. Like, come on, man. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Well, at the time, honestly, I think at the time he was just really trying to, gain a following, especially in the, in the right wing establishment area. And so the thing is I personally think that fucking there started to be some things that you just cannot fucking blow off, no matter how right wing you are. You have to be a serious sellout to really, really honestly just ignore a lot of the things that were going on. And I think it hit him. And then what happened is when he started calling that shit out, he started losing a major, major, major part of his fan base.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And people like really, they didn't appreciate it because his fan base was mainly white people.
Yeah, same thing happened to Anthony Brian Logan, bro. There's a black conservative YouTuber. His name is Anthony Brian Logan. You know what I'm saying? And he's one of those people that likes to buck dance. You know what I'm saying? And he didn't even cross anybody. All he said was that, like Trump lost. You know what I'm saying? And like, we need to move past it. And it just him being black and saying that was just too much. You know what I'm saying? So what ended up happening was he lost a lot of his following, and a lot of people like downvoted his videos and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and
because again, that shows you exactly what the fucking game is. If you're willing to buck dance for these motherfuckers, they accept you. If you're not willing to buck dance, you're done. You're over.
Facts.
No more. So I find that, and I personally, I laugh at that shit. I'm like, well, that's what you get. You
That's
know
what
what I
you
mean?
get.
You
Yeah,
chose what you wanted, and now you gotta live with that shit.
yeah,
And
that's what you
so
get.
I find it actually funny when that shit happens. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Don't come running back to the black community talking about but I had your back. Nope.
no,
I'm good. I'm good on that.
yeah, you didn't have shit.
Don't need none of it.
You know
Don't
what I'm
need none of
saying?
it. Oh
That shit,
shit. Where the fuck is it? Okay,
that
there
shit's
we go.
crazy,
My bad.
man.
Yeah, don't I'm good on a lot of these dudes, to be completely honest, bro. A lot of these people are problematic, and you know, I'm happy that a lot of these black folks, showed themselves and exposed themselves for, you know, exactly for who they are. So I'm
Right.
I'm perfectly fine with it. I'm good.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt. I mean, like it's just I don't get it, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't get it. Like I mean, actually I guess I do get it, but I don't understand what it is that a lot of people don't recognize about a lot of this fake shit. You know what I'm
Well,
saying? Like I
I
don't
mean,
understand like why a lot of these black people align themselves with like politics and political parties because like that like when it comes to there's no politics. You know what I'm saying? Like ain't none of that shit gonna help you at all. Like you know what I'm saying? Like what the,
because see, the thing is a large majority of black folks, uh, they they really want acceptance. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
so because of that, you know, they're willing to do almost anything for that acceptance. And that's what you're dealing with. That's what you're seeing. You're seeing black folks just, praying today, white zaddy, please, please accept me. Let me be a part of this. And, look at me. I'm the same as you and all this other shit. But the fact of the matter is they're never going to look at you the same as them. They don't
right.
care about you. You are nothing more than a pawn to them. And you think that the more you act like them, they're going to accept you. But they're not,
No,
you know?
no.
And that's
As a
just
matter
what
of
it
fact,
is.
they're gonna crush you even harder, and you won't see it coming.
Right. And that's the key component of this whole situation. You're not you're not gonna see it coming because they're gonna fucking be laughing in your face the whole time.
Yeah.
So it's kinda like, all right, bro, whatever works for you, I'm not
Whatever floats your boat.
right. My saying. All right, you know what it is. Okay. Have fun with that.
Right, man. Like
Alrighty then, Negro.
I don't,
More
I don't,
power to you.
I'll never get it, bro. Like I'll never understand. You know.
Neither will I. But at the same time, honestly, I don't. I've lost energy for black folks who are too concerned about what white folks think about them. I've lost my patience. Like I don't care about
Yeah.
anything that you Negroes is going through because you're too worried about these people who don't care.
Right.
And a lot of people will be like, well, you can't judge all white people. No, I can, but I can judge you guys as a group.
And
And I, you know, and I can be, honest about that.
well,
So,
it doesn't even have anything to do with judging white people. It's basically what was said was that we need to stop caring about what other people think about us. So if you want to feel that that's something about white people, then maybe you need to check yourself about why you feel guilty about that. Do you think that you're dominating how we should feel about you? Because no, what we're saying is we need to stop worrying about acceptance and focusing on ourselves and being better. What you're saying, if
mhm,
you have a problem with that, is that we need to check ourselves because we're not better. That's what you're saying. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Like,
Yeah, again, I'm not finna sit here and play games with none of these Negroes. If you Negroes haven't figured it out by now, you ain't never gonna figure it out. And unfortunately,
they purposely ain't trying to figure it out, bro. You know that.
right. But the thing is what's so funny is now we got a whole bunch of kids in the younger generation that is actually accepting a lot of these ideals. That's the scary part about it, you
Yep.
know. So, it is what it is. But I think we about done now. What is
Yeah.
this?
This was that story. Melanin Magdalene put this in the comments and said that they wanted to like see a little commentary on it. So it's
Okay.
only 2 minutes and 35 seconds. I can't remember
Let's do
what this was about either. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I can't remember. So let's check it out real quick.
But they
let's do
have
it.
an idea about what happened here. The victim's families tell me that the girlfriend had ran out of gas on I-96, called her boyfriend for help. He picked her up. They went and got gas together, but were struck by a car as they rode back to hers here on the freeway. The families of Daniel Mixon and Nakia Payton were still coming to terms with the tragedy that took both their lives as they gathered to remember them Wednesday. A man driving the wrong way on I-96 in Detroit crashed into them Saturday morning, killing Payton, a mother of 5.
Every day, I just think about all the moments that we did laugh about and just seeing her smile.
And severely injuring her partner, Daniel, who died hours later at a local hospital.
Nothing in the world could amount to the amount of pain that I'm going through losing my father. Not just a dad, he was a father.
State police say their dispatch center began receiving calls of a wrong-way driver traveling westbound in the eastbound lanes of I-96 around 3 a.m. Saturday. Then came another call. That driver crashed into Mixon's motorcycle, Payton in tow. Michigan State Police suspect the wrong-way driver may have been under the influence, and they say he has a previous alcohol offense.
You have to understand, I can't be out here drunk driving because stuff like this happen. You take people away from their family.
You can't say sorry because sorry is not going to fix the problem.
Lucaria and Tatiana Payton remember their mom as a loving, devoted mother. Daniel, a father of 3, was a carpenter by trade and an avid poker player and roller skater.
You don't realize what you've done, the impact of the people you've taken away from everybody. So many people, so many lives, their mom, his dad.
2 families bound first by love, now by tragedy.
Love you, bro. Always and forever.
Now, that wrong-way driver was not seriously injured. He was taken to the hospital and then to Detroit Detention Center, but has since been released. He has not yet been charged. Police are awaiting toxicology test results. In the meantime, both the families are preparing to bury their loved ones. There are a couple of GoFundMe campaigns raising money towards that. And if you want to help out with that effort, please head to our website at fox2detroit.com.
So apparently,
Okay.
the punchline in this story is that the driver who was driving the wrong way on that highway happened to be and they haven't charged him yet. Basically,
He happens to be what?
white.
Oh, so he's a white dude.
Yeah.
And why? And the question now becomes, why haven't you charged him?
Right. Have you ever heard of that police officer? His name is Stephen Q. He's in Detroit.
No.
Let's check this
I
out.
ain't never heard of him.
Oh man, you're gonna want to hear about him. Hold on. I'm gonna actually see if I can find. Hold on, real quick. I'm gonna actually see if I can find this real quick. This is what we got. This is what we got popping off. We got some shit like this popping off over here. You're gonna trip out when you see this, bro. Now, this should actually be a national story. This shit here, this motherfucking shit right here should for real be a national story. Let me see. Hold on real quick. Oh, so now we doing this dumb shit. Okay, I got you. I see what I see what's going on now. I see what's going on now. Let me see. Check this out, bro. This everybody that watches this video, what y'all need to do is y'all need to make this name go viral. All right, so pay close attention to this video.
For months, the 7 investigators have been digging into some of the Detroit Police Department's most troubled officers.
And tonight, our first report is on a cop who's been accused of misconduct at an alarming level. Since he joined the force, Officer Stephen Koo has repeatedly been accused of excessive force and using hostile and racist language. He's also accused of harassing people of color who say their biggest crime was being in the wrong place at the wrong time.
7 investigator Ross Jones joins us now with what he's learned.
It's a story you'll see only here on 7.
Being myself an African American, I don't put much stock into the police force anymore.
There was a time when Jay Brown dreamt of becoming a Detroit cop, but that changed the day he came face to face with one.
I started opening my door to step out of my vehicle, and that's when the cop car came blazing up on me.
In broad daylight in September of 2015, Brown was pulling up to a rental property he helped manage near Fenkel and Greenfield, and he says Officer Stephen Koo pulled up to him.
He told me not to move, asked me where the drugs are there drugs in my vehicle, are there drugs in the house that I'm approaching, what am I doing here? And I said, no, sir, I do not know what's going on. I'm just here to check on some rental property.
Nearly the whole time, he said Koo's gun was trained on his chest.
Still holding a gun on you after 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and I'm asking you, pleading with you, can you please lower your weapon?
He said Koo used profanity and was demeaning, that he searched his vehicle but found no drugs or stolen weapons. And before Koo left, according to the complaint, he wrote him a ticket for not wearing a seatbelt and then said this.
He just said, he's just another stupid
Do you have any doubt at all that he used the N-word?
I have no doubt in my mind that he used N-word. If you feel that strongly about the color of my skin, you probably shouldn't be an officer in the city of Detroit.
Jay filed a citizen's complaint against Officer Koo, seen here on Facebook, that included allegations he used racist language and unnecessary force. Koo denied both. It was hardly the first time he'd been accused. The average uniformed officer in Detroit has received just over 8 citizen complaints, according to DPD data. Some go their entire career without receiving one. But Stephen Koo, in his 12 years on the force, has received 85. We could not find any officer who's amassed that many that quickly. And for Koo, virtually every complaint against him where race is listed, he's lodged by a person of color.
It's somewhat of a concerning pattern, simply because you would probably want to mix of different races.
Right, must be nice, white guy.
They asked us, do we have any guns or drugs on us?
DeAndre Reed and his brother were standing outside on the street where they live when Officer Koo and his partner pulled up.
We said no. They told us to lift up our shirts and do a complete circle so they could see our waistband. We complied.
He said Koo handcuffed him, searched him, then saw that DeAndre had an outstanding traffic warrant. It was then, according to the complaint, that Koo said this.
Thank my dumb brother that I'm going to jail.
You used that word?
Yes. He said it like that's something that he always says. He was very confident in saying it.
And Reed's neighbor was a witness.
And he was like, this is because of your brother. And I was like, whoa, man, hold on, wait a minute.
Reed was jailed and then released. After he filed a complaint against Koo with the city's Office of Chief Investigator. Reed and 3 witnesses said Koo used the N-word. The only person who didn't was Koo. The complaint was sustained, but Koo appealed and with no reason documented, his commanding officer later dismissed the charge. Even today, DPD couldn't tell us why.
We take it very seriously, and we have disciplined members of the department strenuously when using that type of language, especially with citizens.
Not him, though.
Not in
Especially,
2015.
wait, pause that.
However, I can't state with confidence.
Pause that. Stop that. Did you hear what he said? Wait, so what he just said was, you didn't catch that. He said, this is so common in the police that, we pay attention to it when it's on other police officers, but even more when it's on citizens. I mean, because it happens. How is it happening that much?
Bro, you know what's crazy? I can't think of the guy's name, but I know his last name was Craig. The chief of police in Detroit, who actually is responsible for keeping this piece of shit's job, guess what color he is?
White or black?
There you go, black.
And I understand that shit.
Yep.
Because I told you these Negro cops.
Yep.
Are all they try to do is they just want to fucking please they white fucking counterparts.
Mm-hmm. They're domesticated pets.
Right. I actually did about a year ago. I actually did a story, and I did a whole podcast on this, citing that black police officers are actually more confrontational. They're more aggressive to the black citizens that they have any dealings with.
Oh, absolutely.
Because, and they they even said it that it seems like it's because they are looking for acceptance and they're trying to show their white counterparts that look, I'm like you, I don't like these motherfuckers either.
Yep. That's exactly it, bro. That's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is.
I find that to be very telling. He said, especially on citizens. But wait a minute. You mean to tell me there isn't not all these motherfuckers is blue? Is that what you're saying?
Right.
That shit is crazy.
Man, that shit is wild, bro. That shit is wild.
That is very, very, very crazy.
That shit is wild, bro. I told you would get a kick out of this shit.
What occurred at that hearing when he appealed it?
Chris Gravlin is DPD's Director of Professional Standards. He joined the department in 2019 and said until he arrived, sustained complaints against officers were regularly dismissed without a reason documented. He says since Koo joined the force, he's been flagged at least 12 times when civilian complaints pop up and counseled by a superior.
For you to say stuff like that, you just know that your best intentions is not to protect people like me. You don't like people like me.
More alarming than the number of complaints against Koo is how consistent many of them are. He has been accused repeatedly by people of color of harassing them, of using the same demeaning language, and at least 8 times of using or threatening to use excessive force.
He a gangster with a badge. I'm 38 years old. I ain't never seen no evil like that.
Corey Collins said he was leaving his grandmother's house when Koo and his partner pulled up.
They asked me, can they search me? I said, no, I haven't did nothing,
According to Collins' complaint, the two men traded insults before Koo cuffed him and then said,
my trigger finger is itching. I dare you to move. I dare you to move.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean to you?
Blow my head off.
Collins was later released, not charged with anything. He filed a complaint against Koo, alleging he threatened his life. Koo denied making any threats. The complaint was not sustained.
I never had no police threaten my life. He threatened my life.
A finding of not sustained doesn't mean the allegation didn't happen, but there wasn't enough evidence to prove it either way. It's the most common outcome for citizen complaints, and it's the same outcome Jay Brown received when he said Koo called him the N-word and used excessive force.
They pay no attention to any of this officer's patterns of practice, despite the remarkable similarity between all of these people's complaints.
Julie Hurwitz is a civil rights attorney currently suing Koo in federal court on behalf of a Detroit man Koo and his partners arrested. She has reviewed his lengthy list of citizen complaints dating back more than a decade.
What the heck is going on here? Why is this man still a police officer?
In 2018, Koo faced his harshest punishment yet, following his role in a drug raid where a dog was shot and killed. When Internal Affairs investigated, Koo said he never fired at the dog, but ballistics later found a bullet casing from his gun. When confronted, he changed his story and told investigators he forgot.
How does an officer say with a straight face that they forgot shooting their gun?
This is it's remarkable to me that they will sustain this and they will keep this dude, you know, on shift and still doing all this shit, right? And the thing is they wonder why black folks be talking so much shit about the fucking police. They
Right.
wonder why black folks don't trust the police. You wonder why, you know, there are so many statistics that show that we are targeted as a group.
Right.
And you see their dismissive attitude. This is all dismissive attitude. He's like, well, he said the charge that is sticking around and the most harshest charge is when he shot a dog. Not that he called black folks niggers, not that he threatened black folks' lives. It was because he shot a dog and lied about it.
Right.
And you asked the question, they said, well, there wasn't enough evidence. Well, what evidence is there supposed to be?
Right.
This motherfucker went around and he was trying to act like a fucking gangster.
Yeah.
And that's what this is. At the end of the day, this is a white man who's taking advantage of his power.
And that dude,
being
that
a police officer,
and he's actually Asian.
Who?
That cop.
That cop right there?
No, not this dude. Not this. The Stephen Q.
He's Asian.
He's an Asian cop. Yeah, not this guy that's on the screen here. But when they show the pit here, we got like just 2 minutes left. They should show another picture of him if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, he's an Asian cop, bro. He's an Asian police officer.
Keep on playing.
Is when what we would want to be getting to at the bottom of any investigation.
Koo and other officers were deemed untruthful. The entire drug case was dismissed, and the disciplinary sergeant recommended Koo be terminated. But instead of doling out any punishment at all, his commanding officer dismissed the entire case for timeliness, saying it had dragged on for too long.
Now I'd like to make a motion to approve the promotions to the rank of sergeant.
Just 3 months later, after a recommendation to fire him,
those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried.
Stephen Koo was promoted from officer to sergeant. When I reached him by phone this month, he declined comment for this report. Today, as a result of this story, DPD says they're considering reassigning him.
Based on your questions, Interim Chief White is aware of and taking a look at.
Look,
what was you gonna say? Go ahead.
This is problematic. Instead of firing him, hey, we'll just move him to a different police force so he can do this to other people.
Right.
This is how they get away with so much. And this is the problem with the police system. This is why the police do need to be overhauled. There needs to be some sort of oversight. And the fact of the matter is they go out of their way to make sure there is no oversight so they can get away with things like this. And all of these things that we put on the screen today, all these things that we keep on talking about, over and over and over again. If you watched my show from last week, I was just talking about the police brutality and the problems with the police.
Yep.
The fact of the matter is you see it over and over and over again. And again, the system is working exactly the way it's supposed to work, because if the system was meant to work for us, these cops would be fired.
Right.
But they're not.
Right.
You know what I mean? So this is disgusting. I'm sorry, bro.
Yeah, man, it's insane.
At all of his options right now with Sergeant Q and how best to utilize him, given some of the things that you've raised in this report.
Those already familiar with Koo wonder why it.
He said how to best utilize him. He would be best utilized as taking up space in a jail cell. idiot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Didn't
Yeah.
happen much sooner.
Should he be a cop today?
Absolutely not. No, he should not be a Detroit police officer.
He should not be an officer of any police department.
We did reach out to the Detroit Police Officers Association and the Lieutenants and Sergeants Association, which have both represented Sergeant Koo throughout his career. Neither returned our call. I'm Ross Jones, 7 Action News.
So this is a little bit much. You know what I'm saying? You know, like this is a little bit much. And
yeah,
I'd like to hear what some of these people who say this kind of stuff doesn't exist, how we explain that right there.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. I would like to hear their explanation.
Yeah. Yeah, because how do you explain that? How do you explain the promotions? Did you hear about that incident in Miami where those police officers jumped on that man in the hotel lobby?
I heard about it. I haven't really watched it though.
Yeah, that shit happened.
You know, again, what we're seeing is we're actually seeing a lot of police officers that are getting away with crimes that you and me would never get away with. And
Right.
my biggest issue with the police is this. You can't sit here and, you know, expect people to just automatically listen to everything that you say and not fight back and be cooperative if these motherfuckers can't even get their fucking own house in order.
Right. Exactly.
You what are you expecting? You think that black folks is supposed to listen? This is the reason why black folks run. This is the reason why black folks do not trust the police. This is exactly it for these type of bullshit.
Right. And as far as expecting black people to trust the police, it's the same thing that white people always do. Try to weaken us mentally by telling us to not pay attention to natural instincts. It's already bad enough that white people have black people to vote and do everything else against their own interests, like black on black crime and different things like that. But now you're sitting here telling us, oh, well, these people that kill you are supposed to be meant to protect you. You're supposed to have a self-protective instinct. Just don't pay attention to it. Listen to us over your instincts. If someone's sitting on your neck for 8 minutes, listen to us. They're not trying to kill you. And if they do, it's just an unfortunate accident. Like, yeah, nobody's buying that shit, man.
Nobody's buying that shit at all anymore. And I'm kind of sick of...
I'm sick of black people buying it.
Right. That I am too. I am really sick of black folks buying it. I'm really sick of the black police officers like Officer Tatum that go out of their way to protect these motherfuckers. You know what I mean? And that shit is disgusting. It's like...
It's disgusting as hell.
And it's like, what exactly are you doing? What exactly is your point for all of this? You know, like, why are you like, what are you trying to prove? You are literally just trying to prove that, you know, Whitey, you know, you good with Massa.
Right.
Massa, look what I did. I killed one of the Negroes, Massa.
Right. Go ahead. You can get you a bite of dog food out of that bowl over there. Like, that's all you're gonna get, dummy. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And it's like, do you have any kind of self-respect at all?
No. They don't have any. It's non-existent in those kind of people, bro.
Clearly. It's clearly no self-respecting Negro would ever deal with that type of shit.
At all.
Yeah.
At all.
But, you know, it is what it is, I guess. You know.
I don't know, man.
And I can't save all you Negroes. You know what I mean? So you can either A, start listening more and paying attention, or B, you can keep on fucking dealing with this type of shit. That's what you can do.
Keep on dealing with it. You know what I'm saying? Because
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know what the expectation is. There's really no way to deal with it. You know what I mean? If people don't listen or either come up with their own ways of dealing with things. I don't know what the expectation is actually, bro. To be 100% honest, like, I don't know what people expect. You know what I'm saying?
Well, my thing is I don't think they know what to expect. I don't think black folks really understand this shit. And I think you have so many confused Negroes that's out here really trying to go out of their way to protect they white masses and shit so they can get they bussies broken open and shit. You know what I mean? And they just,
Right.
you know, these niggas is just a bunch of fucking cowards. I mean,
Yeah.
we have created a whole bunch of cowards, man. And, you know, we have to figure something out. Otherwise, we're in a lot of trouble, man.
Yep.
We're gonna be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah. And
So
it's already like it's already starting. You know what I'm saying? Like you already see this shit happening, and it's just like they have black people already trained to just ignore what they see. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Check
absolutely they do.
check this out, bro. This is crazy. Look at this.
Good evening, everyone. We begin with a News Channel 5 investigation that's raising questions about how a man with a troubled work history was able to get hired as a police officer. Investigative reporter Ben Hall took an in-depth look at the career path of an officer sued in connection with an inmate's death in Marshall County, and he found a long history of discipline.
The disturbing video went viral.
Stay down, you stupid soul!
It shows several officers subdue William Jeanette, who refused to get into a restraint chair in the Marshall County Jail. Christopher Stallings' body cam shows him on Jeanette's back after he was handcuffed and in leg restraints, saying he could not breathe. Jeanette's last words were, "I'm good." Stallings quickly responded.
Oh, you ain't good. You gonna lay right there for a minute.
And as we first reported, a month before Jeanette's death, the department suspended Stallings for 2 days for yelling at a 10-year-old girl and putting her in handcuffs.
You better be glad that these are your parents, because you come at me that way, you walking away with a busted head.
The department found Stallings escalated the situation and got into an argument with a 10-year-old.
You want to fight like a...
Go ahead, say what you're trying to say. If you don't say what you're about to say, when we get done with this live frame, you're gonna have a busted head.
Look, bro. Let me keep my mouth shut. I'm just gonna keep my motherfucking mouth shut, because, like, honestly, at the end of the day, look, and I hate to say this shit, but we at that point where, you know, it might be time to start going about this a whole different way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those would be the videos that are on Patreon and Discord. You know what I'm saying? Like, but what's crazy is he's doing this. He's doing this. This 10-year-old girl that they're talking about is a white girl, and this is a white inmate in prison that they killed.
Yeah, again, those are the white sacrifices.
The white sacrifices, yeah.
Those are the white sacrifices to say you're going to be the sacrifice, so we can turn around and say we're not racist.
Right.
That's what that shit is.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That's what that is, whether people want to admit that shit or not. You know, and it's too bad that people are not recognizing this shit.
Right.
That's what that is. It's too bad that people are not recognizing this shit. I apologize. I'm over here trying to fix my clippers while I'm doing that shit.
Nah, nigga, you good. You good, bro. Hold on, I'm gonna finish playing this so you can hear the rest of it.
All right.
Grown woman, I will treat you like a grown woman, which means I will bust your head. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Get your shoes on before I lose my temper.
Before becoming a police officer in Lewisburg, Stallings had a troubled history as a corrections officer in both Davidson and Bedford counties. In Davidson County in 2011, a fellow officer said, "I am in fear. I feel threatened. I do not feel safe in that hallway with him." The department separated the two, and Stallings received a written reprimand. In 2012, he was suspended for 5 days after he intentionally poked holes in coffee cups and placed them on the table for inmates to use, allowing hot coffee to pour through the holes. In 2013, Stallings was suspended for 24 hours, 2 full shifts, after admitting to losing his temper and taunting and cursing an unruly inmate. His supervisor blasted his behavior, writing he potentially caused the incident to escalate. A few months later, Stallings resigned, effective immediately, after yet another suspension for sleeping on duty. Stallings wrote, "Due to recent circumstances and situations partly beyond my control, I feel it is necessary to terminate my employment." The sheriff's office accepted his resignation and noted he is not eligible for rehire. Even though Stallings could no longer work as a jailer here in Davidson County, one of his supervisors wrote him a glowing letter of recommendation, which he used to get a job as a jailer in Bedford County in 2014. But the very next year, a fellow Bedford County officer reported that Stallings was cussing and yelling at an unruly inmate and pushed him down to the ground while he was handcuffed. After that, a supervisor told Stallings his employment at the jail was not working. The supervisor wrote, at that time, Officer Stallings stated that he would resign. He did not want his separation to read that he was terminated for an unsatisfactory job performance. Despite all that, Stallings applied to the Tennessee Law Enforcement Training Academy in 2017 and became certified as a police officer.
Police officers wield an enormous amount of power over the lives of everyday Americans.
Duke University law professor Ben Grunwald has published articles calling for a national database listing disciplinary issues for people in law enforcement, even corrections officers.
And I think it's just as important for us to be tracking this kind of stuff for corrections officers as it is for law enforcement.
He says every state has its own laws regarding what is reported about the disciplinary histories of police officers. In Tennessee, the Peace Officer Standards and Training Commission, or POST, serves as the primary regulatory body for law enforcement. They must be notified when police officers are suspended 15 days or longer, or if they resign in lieu of termination.
So there's no reason to arbitrarily say if it's a suspension below 15 days, then we don't track it.
And sheriffs must report those things about deputies, but they do not have to report them about jailers. So Post did not know about Stallings' work history as a corrections officer when he went on to become a police officer.
Is if we're hiring officers who've done bad things in the past, that's one of the easiest predictors to know that they're going to do bad things in the future.
So when Lewisburg hired Christopher Stallings, there was no state record of his history as a corrections officer. And when he resigned from Lewisburg a week after the death of William Jeanette and a month after getting suspended for handcuffing a 10-year-old, neither would have been on his state record. 6 months after leaving Lewisburg, Stallings was hired by the Mount Pleasant Police Department, which called him their top applicant. We've learned Stallings has resigned from the city of Mount Pleasant Police Department in an agreement that gives him 2 weeks severance and overtime pay. In his resignation letter, he wrote he's leaving because of the current political climate and our continuing coverage. He wrote he did not want to damage the department's reputation. The city manager called him an exemplary employee in the time he's been there. Stallings ended the letter saying he will seek future employment in law enforcement or elsewhere. Ben Hall, News Channel 5, investigates.
And we wonder why the fuck we keep on having problems with the law enforcement that we're dealing with. It's because all they have to do is quit before they get fired and then go to a different place. Wait a few months and then go to a different place.
Yeah.
And he was let go with full paycheck, overtime pay, and pension to live on, and then he's good.
Right.
This is
how's that shit work? How's that shit work, bro?
Huh?
I said, how's that shit work? You know what I mean?
That's called the system of white supremacy working against everyone.
Facts.
So white folks have fun because when he goes off and kills some white kid, you can fucking blame it on yourself.
Right. That's facts.
You know. So it is what it is, man. It is what it is.
That's facts, bro.
Yeah, I'm awestruck at this point.
To say the least, like to say the least, bro. Like, yeah.
Yeah, this is the problems with the police system, and I think this clearly shows that.
Oh,
You know,
absolutely.
when we're talking about the police system, the whole police system needs to be overhauled, and I mean from top to bottom. Every single last police officer needs to be checked, and if they have more than a certain amount of complaints on them, they need to be gone. Period.
Absolutely. Absolutely, bro.
Without an ability to get another job somewhere else.
This dude literally said that he was leaving because of the current political climate. Nigga, what political climate? What about the fact that you handcuffed a 10-year-old girl and you killed someone and got away with it? Like, what? Like, we're just gonna ignore that, you know? Just,
Right, because that's definitely not the reason. It's
there's
not
too
because I
much.
killed anyone.
There's too much liberalism, and the political environment is just so anti-white nowadays. You just can't do anything. Like, okay, all
You
right.
can't do anything that you used to be able to do. You're right.
I
Because
mean, and
my
he
dude,
still actually is doing it because he actually just killed someone and got away with it. Like,
right?
The fuck, like, we literally just saw 2 examples of white people getting away with it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Isn't that awesome?
it's just like, but it doesn't exist. Like, it's not real. Like, we're the problem.
You're making this up. Yeah,
Mhm.
you're making this up, fucking
Yeah.
Rob. You're
Yeah.
making this up, bro.
I'm absolutely
This isn't
paranoid.
them. This is absolutely all of us. We're the problems, and they are the people that fix those problems.
Yes. I'm most definitely the problem. I'm not just a problem. I'm the problem. Like, wow. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, definitely it is. It definitely is. I hope I got that shit right finally.
Was you trying to get that get your clipper?
I'm trying to make sure my clipper is, even. Gotta make sure it's even, bro. Gotta make sure my haircuts.
You know,
what I
you
mean?
use shaving cream up there?
No, what?
I'm just playing.
I don't do that. Shaving cream is for pussies.
I go get a steak knife and I peels my head like a potato. You know,
I use a straight razor. Like old school. And y'all niggas who put motherfucking, cream and fucking shaving cream on your head, you're a bunch of pussies.
Yeah, you put cream in coffee. You know what I'm saying? Like, not in
Right.
not in your damn
I
hair.
add water and start shaving, bitch.
I take as soon as I get done unpacking shit, I take the box cutter and go right to my own damn head with it.
Yeah, you're a fucking fool. That's it. That's it, bro. That's it. All right, folks, ladies and gentlemen, it's clearly early in the morning.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Another great, pre-recorded podcast, and we will be back on Wednesday night at 11 o'clock p.m. Reality Check Virtual Radio. Make sure y'all go and follow that. The link will be in the description box. Y'all already know Blacklight Revelations. Both channels are on a channel strike, people. All right, so make sure y'all go to the About page and to the channels page and sub those backup channels.
Right, absolutely.
And we'll catch y'all on the next video. All right. Deuces.
Weeds on the tracks,